Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
It started out so simple and got so far out of hand, making showbiz out of what was fun. From the time I stopped my schooling and went out to start a band, I've been living every minute on the run. And I've tried to be all that you hoped I'd be. Just because things went wrong, don't run out on me. I need you, mama. Open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here no more. Mama, open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here no more. I'm overweight. I'm underpaid. No one's beating you back to my door. Mama, open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here. Motel rooms and flying tunes and food I couldn't chew. From the Fillmore to the White House, chasing fame. But nobody hears my records, and my roof is leaking too. After all these years, my life appears in vain. They still say just one hit and you're doing fine. But I'm bored with the game and I'm short on time. I wanna end it, mama. Open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here no more. Mama, open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here no more. I'm overweight. I'm underpaid. Now, mama,
One of the best lines in rock. Mama, open up. I'm coming back in. I don't like it out here no more. Yes! That's, it's kind of the Cuddly Turtles. It's when they got spiky and prickly and became Flo and Eddie. It's from a brilliant album. Well, it's from two brilliant albums. The original album, and it really is. It's one of the best albums you will never have heard. Moving Targets by Flo and Eddie. It's a masterpiece. A masterpiece of bitterness, resentment, and wonderful pop tunes. It's also on a box set from the fantastic Rhino Records, when Rhino Records was fantastic. I don't know, I couldn't possibly pass comment on what they get up to these days, but it was certainly fantastic, which was, I think it was called The Flo and Eddie Story, and it had all the Turtle stuff and the Flo and Eddie stuff, and the Crossfires from before they were the Turtles, and Rhino Records has played a huge, huge part in my life. You know I'm obsessed with the Monkees, okay? You know I'm obsessed. Well, Rhino, sort of in the 80s and the 90s, was the only one that was treating groups like the Monkees, groups like the Turtles, groups like the Zombies, Arthur Lee from Love, with the respect that they deserve for being wonderful pop stars. realised that pop wasn't a dirty word. I'm so thrilled we got our next guest on. Not only did he kind of kick off Rhino Records, he's also written a brilliant book, My British Invasion. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from California, it's Mr. Harold Bronson. Harold, what a thrill to talk to you, sir.
Well, I'm thrilled to be on the show, but I have to say that, what a lead-in with Flo and Eddie. So, I don't know if listeners realize, but Mama, Open Up, I'm coming back in. That's climbing back into the womb.
Oh, I think that will have got it's that whole Moving Targets album. I just think it's a lost classic. It's wonderful.
Well, you know what? It's unfortunate that you weren't presumably living in Los Angeles, because I saw Flo and Eddie many times, and it was like such a fun experience. And obviously I was very close to them and wrote a whole chapter on them in my previous book, the Rhino Records story.
We'll talk about Rhino in a bit, because I do want to pick your brains, Harold, because listen, I've been really inspired by you. I'm a huge Monkees fan, and I've set up a tiny little label over here that releases obscure Monkees solo stuff. But I'm going to try not to geek out too much. The book you've got out now, My British Invasion, it's fascinating, because being a Brit, we tend to only hear one side of the British invasion. We see all the footage of the Beatles getting off the plane at JFK. We see, the footage of the Dave Clark 5 on Ed Sullivan. We kind of see that, and it's what's interesting about your book is obviously you're American, and I don't think I've heard the story from an American's perspective before.
Well, it's interesting. When I was in film classes at UCLA, the recommended reading, the books, quite often the authors were English or French, and I used to kind of think, wait a minute, this is American cinema.
Yeah.
How come these books are coming from Europe? And I think sort of in the same way, or a flip, is that the British invasion made such a big impression on me. And then my orientation was such that, I really appreciated it. And it was different in the U.S. Than it was in the U.K.
What is interesting is, because I'm a big fan of kind of 60s pop, mainly, the Monkees, the Beach Boys, the Turtles, that kind of stuff. But the acts, the British acts that made it in the States, that if you were to mention their name over here in the UK, mean nothing. I mean, Chad and Jeremy, most people over here would be scratching their heads trying to think of a Chad and Jeremy song. There's a band you mention in there that Peter Noon runs into. Is it the Hullabaloos?
Yes, it was. It's really kind of fun because he didn't know who they were.
And it's this blonde group, and they're British, and they're from Hull, and they're called the Hullabaloos. No one's ever heard of them. Did they have any hits over there?
Yeah, well, what's so interesting is that it almost seemed like anybody who, came over from England, with the charming English accent,
yep.
And obviously quite a number of people had hits here who didn't have. Maybe another good example was Ian Whitcomb, who had a number 8 hit. And didn't have any hits in England. That was, of course, You Really Turn Me On. The Hullabaloos had a couple of mid-charters, not top 30, but they were signed to Roulette Records.
Oh.
They used to be, and they were on, whenever, they had the Dick Clark Caravan of Stars tour, or the shows in New York at the Paramount and the Brooklyn Fox, if they needed an English group, because anything English was, was appealing to, they would get the Hullabaloos because the Hullabaloos were around.
You mentioned Roulette Records, of course, run by a gangster, Maurice Levy. We've had Tommy James on the show, and that Tommy, I don't know if you've read the Tommy James book, but the stories about Maurice Levy, wow, ripped him off, that murderers were hanging out in the offices. Just incredible what was going. Pop in the 60s, particularly in America, with people like Maurice Levy, with the Alan Kleins and things, it felt very seedy. There's a lot of seediness going on.
Well, I do have speaking of Maurice Levy, in the Rhino Records story, I have a whole chapter on Tommy James and whole chapter on Frankie Lyman and the teenagers, and I produced the movie. It was a Warner Brothers picture, so I'm well versed in with Morris Levy. But for a lot of these groups who are teenagers and unsophisticated in business, the idea was that if you had a hit record, you could charge more for your live appearances.
Yeah.
And that's that's something they would know if they're getting, $50 to split 5 ways, and then they have a hit record and they can get $200 to split 5 ways. That's tangible, rather than what's a percentage of a royalty of a list price and whether they got paid properly or not. I mean, something like that. I mean, even if you think about the stories of the early Beatles and the royalty rate that Brian Epstein originally negotiated, how tangible could it be?
Well, it's also, I mean, Epstein was not very good, but he was keen, and of course, the famous stories of him pretty much giving away all of the merchandising because no one had ever done it on that scale before. The Beatles turn up and they want Beatles pajamas and pillowcases and glasses and wigs and all of that, and Epstein kind of went, yeah, you go and do that. We're going to go off and do our concerts, and left them a terrible deal.
I can't really fault him on that because he did so many good things for them.
Of course.
Let me give you an example. So in My British Invasion, I have a chapter on the history of the Dave Clark Five, and when Dave Clark first wanted to get signed, again, he was very unsophisticated, but somehow he had, good business sense, and he figured, I'm going to ask for 3 times the going royalty rate because then there'll be room to negotiate when they offer me a less amount.
Yeah.
But because of the way he wanted to structure the deal and control what the band recorded, he paid for their own recordings. So the record company, in this case EMI, they figured, well, we're not paying for the recordings. There's little risk here, so they agreed to his high demand for royalty rate.
Yeah. Dave Clark 5, I'm really interested in your chapter because Dave Clark fascinates me because in any other rock biography where it's a star from the 60s, what springs to mind is the Graham Nash, Wild Tales. He hates Dave Clark, and it seemed to be the thing in the 60s that every other musician treated Dave Clark with real suspicion, if not outright hatred. And what's really interesting in your chapter is about Dave Clark. You had dealings with him, to license recordings and bring out CDs and stuff with Rhino Records, and he sounded like a tough cookie to work with. Let's put it that way, shall we? That's polite.
He was tough, but I think it was to his detriment because I think at a certain point, when I wanted to put out the Dave Clark 5 material in the U.S. and he kept, saying no, he kept it off the market for so many years that I think the interest in the music declined because radio stations didn't have new versions to play. People didn't hear it in movies and, TV shows. And I think that there's a lot of really good records there. But if you think about among the major artists of the 60s, they're the only ones that you could name that never had a history of box set.
No, and it's because he was, as you say, he was sitting on them, on those recordings, waiting for it, the moment when they'd be worth millions, and he kind of missed that moment. What I loved in your book, Harold, and there are loads of bits I loved, but the affection that you have for Peter Noone and Herman's Hermits, because they're kind of considered in this country, I don't want to say, a footnote sounds a bit harsh, but they're kind of considered a little bit of a jokey band because of I'm Henry VIII, I Am, and all those kind of, in inverted commas, silly songs. But you write about Peter Noone and the band with such genuine affection. It's infectious. You can't help but feel, something for the band. Why do you like them so much?
Well, thank you for that. I mean, ultimately, on any of these things, and it doesn't matter how serious a record is or how silly it is, it's if it makes you feel good, if you enjoy it. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Exactly, yes.
But when I first met him, it was a real revelation because, they were, for a short period, they were gigantic in the U.S. They sold more singles in 1965 than even the Beatles.
Wow.
So that's how big they were.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, we saw them in a certain way, and the thing that Peter said that early on, when they started out, they were kind of a comedy group, because he said if they just played their versions of, the hit records of the day as a serious band, they wouldn't get rehired, because the people who own the clubs would say, well, we could just play the record. So by being a sort of a comedic show band, they would get return bookings. And what happened is they were so big in the U.S. that because people were screaming, they couldn't do the funny stuff because nobody would hear them.
Yeah.
So what Herman's Hermits were in the early days, when they, played the Manchester area, they played the Cavern in Liverpool, nobody in the U.S. experienced that, because, they became like a different band. So that was a real revelation to me.
You like pop, and I can tell that from the book. I can tell that from, I read the Rhino book, and having looked at the Rhino's output when you were there. You like pop, and I agree with you. If it makes you feel good, that's it, man. I grew up loving the Monkees, and I was teased for it. But I'm trying to instill in my children, who are 7 and 5. I'm taking them to see the Beach Boys tomorrow. They've already seen the Monkees and Bare Naked Ladies. If you like the song, it doesn't matter who's done it. Doesn't matter. The Hollies, again, another band, because over here they kind of play the sort of 60s revival circuit of theatres and stuff like that, and there's only a couple of the original members. But the Hollies have got an incredible back catalogue. Just these wonderful guitar-driven, harmony-fueled pop classics, and again, that you kind of celebrate that in your book. How big were the Hollies in the States? Were they big over there?
Not that big. So I'm going to tell a little anecdote here, and again, I do have a chapter on the Hollies. So this story is in my chapter. It's also in Graham Nash's book. But speaking of Morris Levy, so when he put together one of these, it was an Easter show at the in New York, a number of acts, and again, he wanted to get some English acts, and you couldn't really get the English acts, so he had the Hullabaloos, of course, but then he wanted to get the Hollies, so the Hollies came over, and they played this week, and by the way, they had hits in England, but they hadn't had a hit in the U.S. yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, but he thought that they were going to break, and he liked some of their songs, so he wined and dined them. He owned a King Arthur themed restaurant called the Round Table. But even though it was a King Arthur themed restaurant, he wanted to excite these guys in the Hollies, so he brought he had some belly dancers come in.
Oh God!
And they were like they'd never seen anything like this before. So after the week in the U.S., when they went back to England, they couldn't stop thinking about and lusting after the belly dancer. So they wrote the song "Stop, Stop, Stop," which in the U.S. that became their first hit. Yeah, the first hit that they wrote.
What I get from the book is you had fun, man. You, as a young man, I'm assuming as an older man too, but as a young man, you're writing for rock magazines, and you're kind of meeting all these people, and there's brilliant bits where you come over to the UK in the early 70s. It sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with pop stars and interviewing them. And how did Rhino Records come? At what point did it go from writing and interviewing and meeting these people? By the way, there's a lovely bit when you come over, I think in 72, and someone's giving you Rod Stewart's phone number, but you're too shy to call it. At what point did you go, right, I want to start releasing records. This is what I want to do. I want to get some respect for some of these artists that perhaps don't have the respect anymore.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. By the way, so when I was interviewing these people, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I want to hang out with these stars and I want to be friends with them, although that happened sort of later.
Yeah.
I was really interested in the stories behind the music, and you have to think that as far as serious music journalism in the U.S., well, that really started with Rolling Stone, which was 1967.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, you didn't get that in the teen magazines. The teen magazines would be, what's your favorite color, and what kind of girls do you like, and those sort of questions. So when these people would come over with their subsequent groups, as far as the stories behind the hits and when they first started, those really hadn't been, you couldn't read about that in the U.S. because it really wasn't out there. So, but my last year at UCLA, I was a college rep for CBS Records, which in the U.S. was Columbia Records, and Epic were the two main labels.
Yeah.
And from that experience, I wanted to get a job in the music business, working for preferably one of the main labels. And for however I presented myself, and but even though I thought I had potential, nobody hired me. So in a roundabout way, that resulted in the creation of the Rhino Records label, which myself and my partner formed out of the back room of our record store.
And it became, I know it's a slightly different corporate beast now, but it became a thing of beauty. And not only did you work with, people like Howard Kalin and the Monkees, who were huge, but you also worked with people kind of on the fringes. Arthur Lee, a man I was madly in love with, Arthur Lee, and Wildman Fisher, of course.
Huh.
What was Wildman Fisher like to deal with?
Oh, well, it depends on his, if he took his pills that day. Because he was, a manic depressive.
Yeah.
And, obviously I had a long relationship with him, and I produced his first album on Rhino.
Wow.
So I did have that relationship with him, but, he could be, the guy was nuts, but he was, inherently funny.
Yeah, yeah.
So, But anyway, what's kind of interesting, which I only recently thought of, if you think about my attraction to the Beatles music, so you have to think no Beatles, no British Invasion, no Rhino Records.
Yeah.
So that's how much the music meant to me. But again, Rhino, it was always more motivated by our love for the music. It wasn't like, hey, I have an idea, let's do this and let's make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because nobody had ever, to be reissuing all this music, this great music that we loved growing up with, nobody had ever, sold lots of records like this before. It wasn't like, you would think that this was a good business model. It was more like, we can make some money and we don't have to get real jobs.
Yeah. And I say it's inspired me and my friend Glenn, and we've started this thing, 7A Records, and we license like solo Monkees records, and we put. I'm going to send you a package, Harold, if you don't mind. I'll get an address and I'll send you some bits and pieces. We did something with Peter Noon as well. I should mention the title of the book. I've tweeted it and I'll tweet it again. It's My British Invasion by Harold Bronson. It really is. It's a labour of love. The passion that you have for the music. And there's some odd ones in there as well. You got to hang out with Status Quo in Disneyland. Now that seems like a really odd pairing. And I interviewed Francis Rossi recently, and he's an absolute, he's a delightful gentleman. But you've done some weird things.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the Status Quo never really happened in the U.S. other than their first Pictures of Matchstick Men hit.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing them for Rock Magazine, but they wanted like a shorter piece, so none of the Disneyland stuff was in the article. But so I went with them to Disneyland, and you have to think, you're spending the day with somebody who, like, kind of nobody in America knows. So I drove in my car with Rick. He was, and the other guys were in like the station wagon.
Yeah.
And then, just to kind of see them like almost like little kids coming alive and enjoying Disneyland. But they have a natural sense of humor, and we were near the, about to go on the Swiss Family Treehouse, they called it, and these this couple in their 20s looking at these long-haired guys, and hey, are you guys in a rock and roll group? And Francis says, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, well, they do. I mean, they have got a delicious sense of humour.
That's what it was like hanging out with these guys. And then on the way back to their hotel in Hollywood, again, I was with Rick. I was driving, and I had the 8-track tape of the Who's greatest hits, Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy, and we were singing along to Who songs all the way back.
Wow.
So it's very fond memories of hanging out with those guys.
What are you doing now, Harold? I mean, obviously we got the book, My British Invasion. How do you fill your time these days?
Well, around the time I left Rhino, which was about 15 years ago, I produced a handful of films. I mentioned the Frankie Lyman movie, Why Do Fools Fall in Love. I did the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie. I did a low-budget thing on the Turtles.
Yes, I've seen that. I've got it. It's great.
And ideally, what I wanted to do, I just think that there's a lot of great rock and roll stories, and hearing this music playing loud in, the speakers in a theater, could really turn people on to this music. But unfortunately, Hollywood has a difficulty in understanding it. And when they do these movies, they tend not to be very good, and they lose money. So it's been very difficult. So at a certain point, I tried to get a Ramones movie off the ground.
Oh, wow.
That didn't happen. I wanted to do the Knack movie, which I have the chapter in the Rhino book about that. That didn't happen. So at a certain point, I thought, I should really write the Rhino book, because I felt if I didn't preserve the history, it was going to be lost. And then as I was finishing that up, I was just thinking, I interviewed a lot of these more prominent English rock and roll bands, and also I dealt with a couple on the Rhino level, like Dave Clark and Ray Davis and the Kinks.
Yes.
And then it just kind of, in my head, I just thought, I should really, a lot of this information hasn't been out there before, or a lot of it that's out there isn't that accurate. I just thought I should really, put it all together.
I won't spoil too much, but there's a wonderful transcript of an interview with Mark Bolan, where Mark Bolan is just playing the role of the Queen pop star. Get me champagne. They haven't got any champagne, Mark. They've only got Coke. Yeah, okay. And it's just a wonderful snapshot of that time. Listen, Harold, I'm going to let you go. I've bitten my tongue for 29 minutes, so I'm going to indulge myself with one Monkeys question. First of all, thank you for what you did with the Monkeys. The Rhino and the films and the documentaries and the re-releases and all of that stuff are wonderful. I get the impression from your first book that they could be tricky to work with. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah, I mean, I had a good relationship with all of them, but you have to think that first of all, because of how they had hits, Mike Nesmith, around the time I first met him, it was almost like the money was tainted, and he had to get rid of it as soon as he could.
Yeah.
So when I met him, he was living in a small house that he originally bought for his chauffeur.
Wow.
And the issue with Mickey Dolenz, who I think is a great guy, and I had a really good relationship with him. He sang on most of the hits, but he still only got 25% of the royalty. And then of course Davy Jones, who was never good with finances, and didn't understand things that well. He always felt that he got ripped off and he was resentful. So one of the things that I had to dodge when I came into the picture was almost like when Rhino bought the rights, I was sort of in the position of their old producer.
Right, okay.
So even though they might have had resentments against their old producer, I had to kind of, dodge those darts because, I was in that position.
I wish that Monkeys movie had been made that you guys were going to do. Oh, the world would be a different place. Harold, listen, thank you. Go on, sorry, you going to say?
Oh, well, but there is that, at least the fictionalized one called Daydream Believers. It was done for TV.
Which is a great film.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do a movie with the original guys, and unfortunately, Davey, again, but had a negative effect on that continuing.
It's a shame, Harold. Listen, thank you for the, as a fan for all the Monkeys stuff and the Arthur Lee and all of that stuff. The book is an absolute joy. I've tweeted it. I'm going to tweet it again in a bit. It's called My British Invasion. You get it on Amazon, all the usual places. Harold Bronson. Harold, send us an address or a PO box or something, and I'll send you a little package from my record label as a small token to say thank you for everything you've done. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you, man. Thank you.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. From Los Angeles, California, Harold Bronson, dear listener. It really is a cracking book. I'll tweet it again. Right. It is, as we do every Thursday, it is the Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown. We do it every week, guys. I've got 10 topics. I'm going to throw them out. You can call in about them. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Oh, man alive. This is the joy of this job. Lou Adler, hopefully next week. He's not very well. This is the joy of this job. 15-year-old me goes home very, very satisfied. Every single... The Rhino Records tapes and albums that I had when I was a teenager, it was the only way you could find the songs by the group Love. I had this cassette, Rhino Records, The Best of Love. Wowzers! So, here we go. We do this every Thursday, dear listener. It's the Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown. We do it every Thursday. I come in with 10 topics. I throw them down. You phone in about them, all your own. I've only got 7, so we're going to need 3 more topics. 0344 499 1000. Here we go. Caddick.
Hey.
I'm 3 topics short for the Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown.
Oh dear.
Do you want to hear the topics I've got so far?
Yeah, let's fire them at me, boy.
Here we go, buddy. Here we go. I've got 7. We need 3 more. If you've got 3 more topics, 0344 499 1000. Here we go. Right. I've been watching a lot of programmes recently, Alan, where landlords have to take back property because they've got dodgepots living in them. Either people that don't pay the rent or people that have got, 30 people living in there when it should be 2. And they waste...
that famous Channel 5 programme, Can't Pay, We're Taking Away?
That's one of them. But then there's another one called, Sad Landlords and, Shitty Tenants or something. I don't know what the exact title is. It's something like that, right?
Landlord's Nightmare Tenants.
Yeah, that's it. And what they do is they find out that there are 30 Romanians. I'm not being racist. That was living in their house. And so they go around, they knock on the door and no one answers. And then they go to court and then it takes 3 months. And then they go around. No, Alan. Shall I tell you what I would do?
What would you do?
Right. And you call in, dear listener, 0344 499 1000. How would you get people out of your house? Or how have you got people out of your house? You don't have to be a landlord. It could be a party. We'll call you back, right? But how do you get people out of your house? What I would do, right? I would go round to my property, right? And they'd have changed the lock so I can't get in. So I'll just wait. Right? Because they've got to come out at some point, haven't they?
If they come out.
Yeah. So I wait. Door opens. One of them comes out. Bear in mind there's 30 in there. One of them comes out. I just walk straight in. He goes, hey, look, where are you going? I go, I'm just going in, mate. No worries. I go straight into the living room, right?
Yeah.
And I start going, right, come on, everybody. Come on, down. And you get 29, 30 Romanians, right? All living there illegally. Not legally, you're not allowed to kick them out like that, right? And they go, what are you doing? And I'd say, I'm taking back my property. You're living here illegally. I'm taking back... What do you... You cannot do this. You have to go to court. And do you know what I'd do, Alan?
What would you do?
I'd undo my belt.
Yeah.
I'd undo my fly.
Yeah.
I'd pull my trousers and pants down.
Burn the man sausage.
Well, that's not... That's a bonus. And I'd take a massive dump in their living room.
Oh,
massive dump. I would save it up for days. And I would... Not too long, because then you can't go. That'd be embarrassing. I would take a massive dump in their living room, and that works on 2 levels, Alan. Level 1, it shows them you are loco. You are nuts.
Bonkers.
You don't play by society's rules, so that instantly creates fear. Secondly, would you want to poo in your living room?
No.
They're out. They go. We don't need to take this. And they go. Boom. And yeah, it costs you a few hundred. You have to get a new carpet and that's fine. It's cheaper than going to court and getting a solicitor. Beautiful. Yeah. So, the topic number one is, if you were a landlord, how would you get people out of your house? Maybe you've done it. Or also, we can apply it to when you've had a party at your house and it's just gone on too long. How do you get people out? 0344 499 1000. Topic number two. We call you back, Alan. Okay. Topic number two.
What's number two?
Is there anything, things that don't live up to the hype, right? Things that they're supposed to be nice and lovely and relaxing and wonderful and great, like pleasures, small pleasures in life, but they don't live up to the hype. I've got one for you. Well, go on.
And I've got an example.
Go on.
ITV's The Nightly Show.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Alan is straight in there. It should have been a very, very simple, small pleasure. Instead, it was painful.
A massive disappointment.
Here's my one, and I hate that. Everyone says, Father's Day, it's always like, we'll do this. No, don't. It's like breakfast in bed.
In what aspect? A great UB40 song?
Yeah, great. It's a great song. I'm going to give you that. It's a great track. But as an experience, it's awful. Breakfast in bed. We'll bring you up breakfast in bed. Well, no, I'm awake. I don't want to be in bed now. I want to come down. No, we're going to bring you up. No, I want to come down. I'm awake. I'm ready. No, we're going to bring you breakfast in bed. And then you've got to kind of sit up and you've got a tray on your lap and you've got to put the tea there and then there's juice and you spill the juice and then it's like you get crumbs in bed and you get, there's nothing pleasurable about it at all, Cads.
Nasty.
It's nasty. Things that don't live up to the hype. 0344 499 1000. Have you got with three short, Alan? I've given you two. Have you got one to throw into the mix?
Oh, no, I was ringing for an entirely different matter.
Well, that is not compatible with we do it every week, guys. I don't know why it's not compatible with the Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. We do it every week, guys, so it shouldn't be any surprise. 0344 499 1000. You can watch us on periscope.tv/Iain Lee. I'm streaming on loads of different things tonight, but I don't quite know how or why. But we're streaming on different things. I think we might be on Ustream. We might be, Matthew will tell me, he's my technical, we might be on Twitch. We might be on, I don't know. We're just trying something different, but it might not be working. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go indeed. 0344 499 1000. It is the Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. We do it every single week, guys. I've dished out 2 of the 10 topics. How would you take back property, or how have you kicked people out of your house when you've not wanted them there? And the small things or big things that are supposed to be great and wonderful but turn out to be a huge disappointment. I give you breakfast in bed. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more topics. We are 3 topics short this evening. Can you help fill that gap, please? 0344 499 1000. Let's go to, oh no! I'm only joking. It's Gatford.
Funny.
I wasn't joking, Gatford.
No. You dislike me.
Yes. What you got for us, boss?
Well, I'd throw another topic my way, Monsignor.
Hang on a second. Who keeps emailing me from made-up email accounts? I've had about 4 emails from made-up email accounts. They're all from the same person. One number 2 in the living room. You're filthy sick and should not be on air. Your racist accent of a foreigner. Me and my mate's going to report to Ofcom. You have a slot in your show and can't even prepare 10 topics. How dumb. Normally every other week we've had 10 topics. It's just this one week, guys. It's just this one week. I'm 3 topics short. 7 is the new 10. 7, 8, 9. You know that joke?
No. Oh, yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
What about 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. What about 9? 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
There, you get it?
Yeah.
No, but no.
Yeah, but no, because 8 could also be a number, but it sounds like 8.
Do you really get it?
Yes.
Are you
sure
you really get it? I'm not convinced you really get it.
You're going to get it, man.
You'd love to give it to me, but do you get it?
Yes. 8 the number.
Yes.
Sounds like 8 the consumed vowel.
I don't think you get it.
adjective.
Stay there. I'm going to educate you because I don't think you get it. Hang on a second. This might help you get it because I don't think you get it because you're an idiot. Hang on. Let's have a listen to this. This will clear things up.
Yeah, go on.
Shush.
1, 2, 3, and 4 more make 7. 6 is afraid of 7, 'cause 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
9 was minding his business, talking to 10 about Gordie Howe's clothes.
Why 7, 8, 9? Nobody knows. 7, 8, 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
What about 9? 7, 8, 9. You got it now, Gatford? Keep listening.
Oh, the cat will have to live with 8 lives now. Ronaldo will have to make do. Ever since 7, 8, 9 seems I've got an extra finger and an extra toe too.
7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9.
Once upon a time in our solar system, we couldn't make do without 9. But Pluto's not a planet now, so 8'll do fine. Oh, the cat will have to do with 8 lives now. The Chinese will be out of luck. Vampires will have to think of some other method, 'cause without their K9s,
how would they suck? 7, 8, 9. You got it? Okay. Hang on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
What about 9? 7, 8, 9. You got it? 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9.
Oh, 7, 8, 9.
I hope that's cleared that up for all the idiots listening. Okay.
Yeah.
Gatford.
In response to topic number 1 now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, how to get rid of 30 people from your front room. Just stick on the best of Iain Lee.
Okay, right, that's rude. That is rude. That is rude and disrespectful. We'll not be having any of that, dear listener. Honestly, you watch these programmes, and the suckers, he turned up and there was literally 30 Romanians in his house. So he went to court, and it took 3 months, and then he got an order to... No, don't go to court. What are you doing that? It's your house. Okay, there are laws. He's only following the law because he's being filmed for Channel 5. What you do is you say to the Channel 5 film crew, this is a pain. I tell you what, Channel 5 film crew, I'll see you, if you come and meet me in court in a month, I'll see you there, right? I'm off now to fret about my property being... See, then you drive off, and Channel 5, they get some shots and they drive off. Then you come back. And then you just wait outside, and all you need is one of them to open the front door and walk out. And he's distracted because he's looking for his keys and stuff. You just steam straight in there. Straight in there. I'm also not averse to roughing them up a bit. We talked yesterday about Bruce Lee. Right? Anyone who's seen the movie, his second major movie, The Fist of Fury, right? He's upset with the Japanese. It's quite a racist movie. The Japanese took over China, bizarrely. I don't know how. China's massive, Japan is tiny. But at the turn of the 20th century, Japan kind of invaded China and took over. And they were really racist to the Chinese. No blacks, no dogs, no Chinese. That were the signs. So Bruce Lee, being Chinese, he gets angry and he goes off to the Japanese dojo to show them that kung fu is better than karate. And there's 30 of them, right? And they circle him, and he's in the middle, and he's giving it all this, and he takes off his jacket with one hand while he's giving it all this. And he beats loads of them up, and then he gets knocked on the floor. And when he's on the floor, he just whips out some chucks, and he's chucking their ankles. And the Japanese, he's nunchucking their ankles, right? You can do that. Now, legally, you can't do that. And if you follow the plot, if ultimately it follows the Fist of Fury, you're going to get shot at the end by the police. You're going to get killed. So, you know, be that as it may. But I don't have a problem with going around there with a pair of chucks. And then when they knock me to the floor, I'm on my back just chucking their ankles. Seriously, if you've ever... Remind me... Have I got any nunchuckers anymore? What, there's a question. There's a question. Let me ask that again. Have I got any nunchuckers anymore? I've got a feeling I chucked my chucks. I think I might have done. I had loads of them. Some with swivel action. I'm going to get me some chucks, and I'm going to film me doing nunchuckers, all right? If anybody is doing nunchuckers, everyone instantly, they get back. You step back. You don't, because particularly if they don't know what they're doing, because it could go anywhere. It could go anywhere. There was a story, 0344 499 1000, by the way. There was a story in the papers over the last couple of days I was going to mention about how there's an increase. I used to smack myself in the head with it, because I'd be doing it in my bedroom in front of the mirror, but I didn't want my mum and dad to know I hit myself with the chucks, so you'd be going... but there was a story about how there's like a rise of weapons. I had the vest on, like Bruce Lee did, because Bruce Lee made the Marks and Spencer vest, the white vest. He made it trendy. Oh, loads of white pale kids in the 80s had the Marks and Spencer vest on. But there was a story in one of the papers, 0344 499 1000, by the way. It's the Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown. We do it every week. There's a story in one of the papers about how there is an increase in the number of weapons being taken into school. I don't believe there's an increase, because you should have seen what we used to take into school in 1987. Nunchuckers. Butterfly knives. Wayne had a hunting knife. Ninja throwing stars. Proper ninja throwing stars. We take them into school. As well, of course, as the usual array of pornographic magazines. And a little bit later on, I would say about 1989, a bottle of Jack Daniels. That's a story for another day. If you've ever... There we go. It's topic number 8. Where have you been drunk where you were not meant to be drunk? There we go. That's topic number 8. And topic number 3 on this list. Where have you been drunk when you really should not have been drunk? At work? At school? I got drunk at school. Well, I got drunk at school once. Jack Daniels. I remember standing on the window in the sixth form common room and saying, "I'm Jesus!" And then I bashed my thumb. I got drunk at school once, and then I got drunk during lunchtime once, and we went back after lunch, and we were steaming. And we're talking to Miss McLaughlin, who was a lovely teacher, who had a lot of time for me, despite the fact I was an awful pupil and terribly rude to her. And there's me, Malcolm, Duncan, and Matthew. And she's talking to us, and we're all absolutely steaming. So we're just standing there with our hands over our mouths like this, just talking to her. It's absolutely awful. So we've got 3 of the 10 topics so far. We're still 2 topics short. Maybe you can help with those. And of course, you know usual rules. You can call in about anything you want. Goodness sakes. But it's a Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown. The 3 cabs that are off the rank so far. Let's go through them. Taking back property, if you've ever done it, if you've ever been a landlord and you've had to take back property, how did you do it? But also it works if you've had people in your house that have overstayed their welcome. I remember when we lived in the flat in London, we're going to get the windows done, but we wanted to get wooden sash windows. They were wood. We had sash windows, but they were a bit ropey, and we wanted to get wooden, double glazed. That was it. We wanted double glazed wooden sash windows in. So we had all these people come round giving us a quote, and we made a terrible mistake because one guy came round and he spoke to us for half an hour, and then he opened his briefcase and he pulled out UPVC windows, and I didn't have the heart to say, "Nah, you ain't getting rid of them with that." So he gave us the whole spiel, and my girlfriend at the time is Tessa. And we were too polite, and we're looking at each other going, "Oh," and he gave us the whole spiel. And those guys is there for about 4 hours. And he was doing the whole, "Well, this would normally cost you 9,000, but we've got a sale on and we can do it for 5. He did that calculator thing. He's just typing numbers into a calculator and he goes, yeah, we can do it for, and he shows it to you, 5,252. We went, no, it's all right. Yeah. And then he said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to call my boss. Yeah. No, I've said no. Well, I've offered them. Wow, really? Really? Are you sure you want to do that? Wow, are you sure? Okay, well, if they don't, they're crazy. Okay, I'll put it to them. I've just spoken to my boss, and we've got a one-off sale. We can do it for $3,999, but you've got to sign the paperwork now. And, we just, literally 4 hours with absolutely zero intention of anybody who replaces, Mark, I'll come to you after the news, anybody who replaces wooden windows or sash windows with UPVC deserves to have their eyes replaced with plastic. I don't know how you would do that, but we'll do that. So getting people out of your house, 0344 499 1000. Disappointing things that they're supposed to be good, supposed to be a thrill, but they are, oh God, who's this person who keeps sending different emails? Pooing in a living room, roughing people up. Is this right behaviour? Do you suffer from mental problems? I'm also reporting to Ofcom. It's the same person! Why are you doing it? Stop it. I'll come round to your house and do a poo in your living room. That's a joke. And when this tape gets played to Ofcom, they'll agree. It's just awful. By the way, if you're going to send emails, multiple emails, pretending to be different people, don't keep making the same spelling mistakes. That's my tip. That's my tip. Where was I? Getting people out of your house. Oh no, the things that are supposed to be exciting and fun, but are rubbish. Breakfast in bed, and Father's Day is coming up soon, and it'll be, we'll bring you breakfast in bed. No, don't bother. I don't even eat breakfast. But suddenly, you're in bed, and you've got, like a bowl of something, and a plate of something, and then there's like a bar of something, and then there's a coffee, and there's an orange juice, and you just kind of thinking, where is the pleasure in this? And yet crumbs in, it's horrible. Hate it. Things that should be pleasurable but are not, 0344 499 1000, and here's the topic number 3, guys. When and where have you been drunk when you should not have been drunk? It is what we do every Thursday night. It's the Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. 0344 499 1000. Those are the 3 that are up for grabs at the moment. There's supposed to be another 7 more, but I'm still too short. So if you've got a couple of topics, then why don't you phone up and let us hear what you have got. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
See, if you've been watching on Periscope, you'd have heard me singing very, very rude lyrics to that Paul Weller song. I hope you enjoyed it. Turns out I've got quite a good voice, but also a very naughty mind. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I'm being trolled by an overweight man in his 60s who is a knob, sending his friends to attack me. Grow up, you're acting like a 12-year-old girl. You tit. Here we go. Here's an email. Why are you not talking about 3 Girls, the drama on BBC One about the Muslim paedophile rings in Rotherham abusing white schoolchildren? Says Stuart from London. Well, for many, many reasons, Stuart, but the main reason is because you want me to talk about it, so I'm not going to. Oh, no, it's because I'm politically correct and we're never rude about Muslims. It's because it's boring! And I didn't see it. That's another reason I didn't see it. So, By the way, I mean, £40 a show, try times in that by 9.5, and you're getting closer. I mean, I don't want to brag. Hey, by the way, thank you. I've got my head around it now. The listening figures weren't great, but, thank you to Don and loads of you on Twitter who clarified it for me. In the little over a year we've been doing this show, we've had well over 2 million. Let me just say that again. Well over 2 million podcast downloads. I mean, yeah. On a good night on Periscope, we'll get between 6,000 and 12,000. So, you know, kiss my chuddies. If there was only some way we could convince the suits at Talk Radio that the podcasts were economically viable by, I don't know, getting adverts in them, Here's my suggestion, right? You put out 30-minute daily best-ofs, right? Which is what we're going to do. 30-minute daily best-ofs, and the interviews will go out, right? And then we're going to put out a best-of on a Friday. Don't tell the bosses, that's going to be completely different from the other best-ofs. Shush, 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 shush. That's what I do. Put those out for free and put adverts in it. Put adverts at the top and at the end, and I do live reads. Hey, tonight we're sponsored by Lawnmowers. Do all that stuff, right? And then what I would do is the full shows, I'd make them available, but you've got to pay quid a month. 12 quid a year. Maybe £1.50. 18 quid a year. Make an absolute fortune, because I've seen the stats, guys. Make an absolute fortune. By the way, can you do me a favour? Can you do me a favour before we crack on with the show? A little bit of self-publicity, because God, for goodness sakes, God save Late Nights with Iain Lee. That's the campaign that we're starting. God save Late Nights with Iain Lee. But here's the thing. If you do download the podcast, and you can get them from all kinds of places, all your usual podcast providers. I don't know what the podcast providers are on Android. Just the usual. Everyone keeps saying, yeah, what about Android? What about Android? What? Yeah. What about Android? I don't know. Wherever you normally get your podcasts from, there's a good chance that the Talk Radio, type in Iain Lee, Talk Radio, there's a good chance, what about Android? I don't know, mate. I don't use Android. But there's a good chance that if you normally get podcasts on Android, if you type in my name and Talk, you'll get it there. If you do get them on iTunes, do us a favour. Just do us a favour tonight or tomorrow. Unsubscribe, subscribe. Unsubscribe, subscribe. That's it. It's a way of cheating the iTunes chart. And what it will do is it will send us up into the top 20. Sometimes if enough people do it, it will send us into the top 10. Well, what's the point of that if you're not getting more downloads? I'll tell you what the point is. If we're in the top 10 or the top 20, there is a chance that more people will see us and go, oh, this is number 16 in the charts. I'll have a listen to that. So there's more, we might get people that would pick us up on a whim. And also, if we kind of go rocketing up the charts by fair means or foul, quite often they'll put you in the new and noteworthy, which again means someone might be scanning through and go, oh, I'll have a listen to this, and we might get new listeners. That's it. God save Late Nights with Iain Lee. It's a campaign. T-shirts is coming. T-shirts is coming. Mark!
You all right, mate?
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mark.
That's all right.
But stuff had to be said.
How can you not have 10 topics?
I know, mate. It's we've been doing this
do it every week.
I know. We've been doing this for over a year, and this is the first time, sir. And I'm sorry, sir, that I have not completed my homework. We've got 8 now. And I've given out 3 of them. When have you been drunk when you shouldn't? Kicking people out of your property, and disappointing things such as breakfast in bed. So we've got. There's more to go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 more, but I do need 2 topics from the listeners. Mark.
Right, I've got a list.
Sorry?
I'll work my way through it. What? If you just yay or nay as we go along.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, fine. We only need 2, so let's make them good.
Okay. I've got favourite Beatles song.
No.
Favourite biscuit.
No.
Favourite B-side.
No.
What did your granddad do?
Yes. Yeah, I'll have that. Hang on a minute. What? That's a great one. What did your granddad do? I don't know. I know my granddad Jock on my dad's side drank a lot, and Grandad Bill on my mum's side drank a lot. That's all I know about those guys.
Favourite sweet that they don't sell anymore?
He's going on. No.
Weirdest place you've had sex?
I think, didn't we do that in February?
This is a list of topics you've put out as terrible topics.
Sorry? Hang on. Well, hang on a minute. Are you regurgitating my own material to me?
Yeah.
Did I actually come up with what did your granddad do?
Yeah.
I'm good. Even when I don't think I'm good, I'm good. That's a brilliant one. What did your granddad do? Beautiful. Okay, go on.
Yeah, there are all topics that you've said at some point, I'm not going to do, and then favourite Beatles song, Weirdest Place I'd say.
I'm going to cut you off, mate, because you're starting to annoy me. Unbelievable. Not getting the respect that a man of my years deserves. Let's go to Paul. Good evening, Paul.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Paul.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm looking forward to seeing how this prank call develops. My senses and my radar, my spidey sense is very, very good, Paul. But continue, vous, s'il vous plaît.
Your sense is as good as a rat. Anyways.
Do you, Paul, now that you've been busted before you've even started, because that's how good I am, do you want to continue with the prank, or do you want to rethink it and maybe call back on another night?
No, we'll continue.
Okay, we'll continue with the prank. What's your real name?
What's my real name? Mo. You said kiss my chuddies. What does kiss my chuddies mean?
Okay, it's a quote from the BBC Two comedy Goodness Gracious Me.
Oh, okay. What does chuddies mean? Chewing gum?
Nope.
No. What is it?
I think it's pants.
Pants? I think it's underwear.
This really is. I mean, this is like.
Anyways, never mind that. Remember that thing what you said earlier on when you were slurring? I think you were taking piss because my mate's dyslexic. That's not how you rip someone.
Okay.
That's being discriminating.
Okay, Mo. You're embarrassing yourself, mate. You honestly, you're embarrassing yourself. You mean it's not work. You've been busted before you even started. It's not working on any level. You've got the radio on in the background, so we can't hear you properly. You're making dyslexic jokes. It's going terribly,
you're
buddy.
The one that made the joke earlier. Play back what you played earlier, and you know.
Your voice has changed from when you started. This is awful. I tell you what, I'm going to set you a challenge because I like you. No, listen. Listen, I'm going to help you, man. I'm going to help you because I respect. No, don't call him back. I'm going to help him. Call him back. Because I respect the prankster. And tell him I want to help him. Genuinely, I want to help that guy. I want to give him LBC's number. Because there's no challenge in phoning up this show and doing a prank. He won't answer it. Oh, guys, come on, grow some. There's no If you want to do a prank call, right? And by the way, if it's good enough, email it to me, Iain@iainlee.com. Right? If you get on to Nigel Farage's show, he's doing like a tour bus next week. Nigel Farage is touring around. If you can get on Nigel Farage's show and prank call him with something really funny, send it to me, Iain@iainlee.com, and we'll play it. Mo.
Hello.
Yeah, come on, listen, right? There's no challenge in phoning me because anyone can get on. But I'm going to give you a number, right, for LBC. Whoa, that's a yellow card, man. Don't watch your language, Mo. Come on. No swearing, dude. Have we got delay there? How much? Yeah, okay. Just yellow card, Mo. Come on, man. I'm trying to help you, right?
Yeah. LBC is boring.
I know LBC is boring. That's why you should be pranking it.
No, you're the entertainer. That's why I'm pranking you.
No, but the thing is, you can't prank this show.
More entertainment.
Mo, you can't prank this show because anybody gets on. Right? Literally anybody can get on. Exactly. The skill is to get onto a show that's boring, that is tough to get on. Now, how you get on to this is true. How you get onto an LBC show, right? You listen to it for 10 minutes. You find out what they're talking about. You come up with quite a good viewpoint on that subject that's a little bit controversial. Oh, Mo, Jesus. You've embarrassed yourself. All right, I'll tell you how to do it, because you're a willing audience, right? What you do is you listen to the show for 10, 15 minutes. You got a good feeling of what they're talking about and what has been said. So you don't want to repeat what someone else has said. You phone up, hello, LB, you're through to LBC. What would you like to say to Majid Nawaz? And you go, right, well, he's talking about, I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about Brexit. And I just want to make a point that's been missed in the debate so far. And I just, as a small business owner, I'm actually really excited about Brexit. And we've already seen an upturn in our exports. And, if what has been said in the Tory manifesto is true, then I think it's going to be a great time for small businesses. Right? That's what you got to say. Something like that, right? Something like that. Because the producer, for it is the producer who answers the phone, not the tech op or your researcher. The producer will go, OK, well, that's a really interesting point. What's your name and number? And you give them that name. You give them the name straight away. Steve. All right, Steve. Well, tell you what, Steve, we'll give you a call back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Boom. You're on. Then when they call you back, keep calm. You get on the air. What is this music that's playing? This is... Oh, it's that. You get on the air and you don't go straight in for the gag, buddy. Don't go straight in for the gag. You start by going, well, Magic, you're talking about Brexit. I run a small business. It's we make bespoke curtains. You got I have all these facts. We make bespoke curtains, and they're quite expensive. It's boutique stuff. You know, you could be looking as much as 1,500 quid for a pair of curtains, but they are really high quality. And since we voted for Brexit, we have seen our international sales go up by about 27%. And I was listening with interest what Theresa May was saying in the launch of the manifesto today. And you're having a little bit of dialogue, right? You've got a bit of dialogue. You've sucked him in. And after about 3 minutes, the presenter relaxes. And the presenter sits back and enjoys the conversation. And then you go something like, well, we did have an issue once with one set of curtains in that we sent them off to, it was a duke that lived in Scotland, and there was a huge semen stain on it. And we got in terrible trouble, and he sent the order back. And Majid Nawaz will go, sorry, what? You go, yeah, no, we sent off these curtains and the Duke was unhappy with it, and he had to say, why did you say he was unhappy with it? Oh, he just didn't like what we did. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, we found out that, one of the lads in the office at the back was spaffing on the curtains. Boom, then you get cut off. But you've been on for about 5 minutes. You can't do it. I'm tempted to phone him up myself. You can't do it straight away. You've got to build up to it. You've got to be convincing. You've got to build up to it. Now, here's the thing, and this will probably get me in trouble. I don't know. If anybody, and I'm not encouraging you to do this, but if anybody did prank Nigel Farage, I know what you're saying, and it was funny, and it got sent to me, well, it might get played out. But I'm, you know, you say that. 0344 499 1000. Christian, stay there. Come to you after this.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is we do it every week, the Thursday night top 10 Topic Throwdown, where I throw down 10 topics. I've only thrown down 3 so far. We've got more to go, but I'm 1 short, because what we've got one that apparently I refused to do it in the past, but older me sees. Here's the thing, as we grow older, we grow wiser, and I realise that a lot of what I did in my youth was folly, including turning down the topic, what did your granddad do? That is a great one. Here's the ones we got so far. What did your granddad do? When have you been drunk? And where have you been drunk when you shouldn't? How do you take back property or get people out of your property if they've been there too long? And disappointing things like breakfast in bed. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Let's go to Chris. Good evening, Chris.
Hi, Ian.
Hey, Chris.
I was just thinking, you had some suggestions for your top 10.
Yes.
And I was thinking maybe, like, when you're having a bad day,
yes.
How did things turn around for you suddenly? Things get better all of a sudden. What happened when you lost all hope and things turn around for you? And you were saying as well on another one about doing a poo in someone's living room.
Yes.
Now that got me thinking.
Did it?
You had to actually, that you were talking about it, that's like, deliberate. I got the sense from what you said that you'd do it deliberately. Like
it would be a deliberate. If the poo that I referenced would have been a deliberate act to show people that I was loco. And that I meant business, and also as soon as they saw a steaming turd in their living room, they'd be out.
Especially if you couldn't get the sash windows open in time.
Exactly, Chris. You know what I'm talking about.
And I was thinking of times, in the past when, when I've actually proved myself and it, and I didn't intend to, like.
When have you? How many times have you done that as a grown man?
Well, I was thinking back to my teenage years, really, and
yes.
There was one time when I was just on the couch in the living room, and
yes.
I was lying on my front just watching the TV.
Yes.
And I thought I had a bit of a gust,
Oh God, no! You don't need to finish that. Story. These things happen. These things happen to the best and indeed the worst of us, Chris. So don't feel any less. Here's a question: what did your granddad do?
He was actually in the RAF in the Second World War.
Beautiful.
He went
kill some Germans.
Well, no, but actually he ended up in Yugoslavia and also Palestine.
Well, gosh, that's unusual.
Before and during and after the war,
Yes. Well, great stories. Great stories.
Well, yeah, but I was just going to ask you. And there was another time I was telling you about being on the couch, like.
Yeah, I think we're fine with that. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. By the way, great news. Sports video fast running Keith. You know Keith. He is on Twitter, and it is him. I've verified it's him. He emailed me. So at Sport Video Keith. He's on Twitter. If you send him a message, there's a strong chance he might respond to you at Sport Video Keith. If you want to find him, can I play? I'm gonna. I don't normally do this, but I was so taken. We've got this YouTube channel, youtube.com/rabbithole, and I've been putting bits and pieces of the show up there. But I put up a video this morning, just a clip from last night's show, and I'm going to play it. It's the EastEnders song. You didn't hear this, did you? It's the EastEnders song by Pat. And there's a few. Pat. He gets the names of the gays wrong, and he mentions Willie twice. Okay, so there's a couple of. Why won't that open? Hang on a minute. What? Oh dear, hang on a minute. But it is truly here we go. It is truly a work of great beauty. Have a listen to this. This is on Rabbit Hole. If you want to go, if you want to watch. Here we go. Deep breaths from last night's show. You might want to whack this up a bit because it's quite low.
Pauline Fowler, Michelle Fowler, and Mark Fowler, Martin Fowler.
Yeah, there we go.
Arthur Fowler and Willie the Pug.
Trying to persuade Pat to come in.
Then what? And she what? And Sharon what? And Lofty too. Kathy Bill.
Should print the words up, really.
Pig Bill. And Ian Beale. And Doc Cotton.
Yep.
And Nick Cotton. Charlie Cotton.
I don't know who that is.
Missed
a bit there.
Not long to go.
Okay, thank goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing very well.
Thanks, Ian.
No.
Oh, get it. Yeah. Carol Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, dear God.
Sonia Jackson and Bianca Jackson, Billy Jackson, Ethel Skinner and Pat Butcher, Janine Butcher and Barry and Chris, the gay ones together, Ali and Sue, the cafe owners.
I don't know if I've seen EastEnders in the last 20 years.
Willie and Rolly and Dr. Leher.
And that's it. That was on last night's show. You can, if you follow me on, we're on all kinds of things now. YouTube.com/rabbithole. The SoundCloud. I'm on Instagram, man. I don't even know what that means. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Christian.
Good evening, Ian. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you very much, my friend. What have you got for us tonight?
I was just thinking, actually, that would have been a much better version than the one that Anita Dobson put out.
Yeah, anyone can fall in love. Because they all had a go at releasing songs, didn't they? There was Anita Dobson, there was Wixie with Every Loser Wins, Once the Dream Begins.
Oh, I was listening to that last night.
And that was number one. There was also... Wasn't there... didn't Ian, Sharon, and was there a black lad called Kelvin? Didn't they put out a record?
Wasn't it? Oh, wasn't it? I remember, didn't you say something months ago about Junior? Mummy used to say.
Oh, Junior, yeah.
Wasn't it? I don't know.
But no, Junior wasn't Kelvin in EastEnders. But I'm sure that I'm sure that Ian Beale, Sharon and Kelvin, I know that they certainly formed a group in the show, and I'm pretty sure they released a record. I'm pretty sure of it. 0344 499 1000.
Yeah, we need to get that one cleared up. I'm here to talk about what my granddad did.
Oh, go on then. Yes, it's a good one. This, I can't believe I turned it down for a reason, because I knew that today would be the day that we would do this topic. What did your granddad do?
Well, he did many things, but the one that I absolutely love and still laugh at to this day,
yes.
In his attempt to entertain me, and probably himself back in the day, he made a chicken noise maker.
So he made a chicken noise maker. How the hell did he make that?
Okay. Well, it's funny enough, I was about to tell you a full story. I was about to give you fake news, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And then my mum came in, and she reminded me of how you actually make it. So in case anyone wants to do this at home, it's a piece of string.
Piece of string, yes.
And you put a hole in the top of an aerosol can. So
hang on a minute. Suddenly, very quickly, it's gone to something quite dangerous. You can't pierce aerosol cans.
Sorry, the lid.
Okay, I'm glad we clarified that before anybody blew their face off. Okay, yes.
No, this isn't some weird manifesto or anything like that.
Okay.
They're easily found online. But there's like a sort of plastic cap of, I don't know, like Mr. Sheen or something like that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and you put the string through it and put a button on the end of the string. And his idea was that if you kind of just not slowly pull it, but pull it bit by bit, so almost like a tug at a time, it would make this...
A tug at a time.
Yeah. Speaking about my granddad here, of course. You pulled it through very slowly, and it made that noise effect. He told me that he did it in Canterbury, of all places.
What is a chicken noise? Hang on, but chicken is like...
No, that's quite a good impression of the chicken noise maker.
Oh, but not of a chicken, all right.
But no.
Fine.
It's a poor man's effort. But that's literally what he made, and you can still make them to this day. It was quite amazing that was...
Did it sound like a chicken?
Yeah, no, believe me, I really wanted to try and whip one up for you before I came on there, but seriously, it made a noise.
I have none of the... Well, actually, I probably got a deodorant can with the lid, but I haven't got any string or buttons. What we need is someone before 1 o'clock this evening, please, dear listeners, if you are watching on Periscope, if you are listening on talkradio.co.uk, what you need to do is make a chicken noise maker by string through a lid of an aerosol can, and there needs to be a button tied to the end of the string.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you that sort of fun can end.
Oh,
You
okay.
can never have too much of a good thing.
All right, guys, we need someone. Christian, thank you. Anything else before I cut you off, you weirdo?
Oh, my other granddad actually owned a nightclub and he met Dusty Springfield, that's all.
I think your other granddad was perhaps the slightly cooler of the two granddads. Yeah. No disrespect. Christian, that's a great call, man. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Can somebody please make us a chicken noise maker before the end of the show? Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
We're going to get T-shirts and everything and badges. God save Late Nights with Iain Lee. It worked for the Kinks. I've nicked it from the Kinks. God save the Kinks. It's how they finally made it in America with that campaign. And I'm guessing 46 years later it will work for this show, won't it? Guys, won't it? 0344 499 1000. I'll do another couple of topics from the list in a second, but before that, let's go to Dennis. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening to you. My Brexit empire is growing. I've had another great grandson, so you get your money ready.
Hang on, say that again. You sound drunk. What are you saying to me, old man?
I said, old man, yes, that's right. I don't mind you referring to as old man. Yes, my Brexit empire has grown. I've got another great grandson.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
I make 7 of them in a row.
What, he's actually out? He's here?
Oh, yes, he's here.
Hey, congratulations, Gramps.
Well, why not? Anyway, as I say, dear boy, there is a way of bursting cans without blowing the things up. No problem. I never put a spray can into the dustbin while it's got pressure in it.
Why not?
No, because it's dangerous.
No. It's dangerous to burst an aerosol can.
I've got a method of bursting without doing that.
Well, how do you do it? But don't do this at home. Genuinely, don't do this at home.
A piece of wood made into a little channel.
A piece of wood made into a channel? I don't even know what that means.
2 bits of wood fastened together. Yes. They look like a roofing tile, the top roofing tile.
Okay, yes.
And then a nail halfway down.
Oh, sweet Lord.
You put it on top of the can, hit it with a hammer, and all the gas escapes.
Right, do not do that at home. I'll have a cup of English breakfast, please. Do not do that at home. That is the most Actually, Dennis, you do as many of those as you can before your birthday, buddy.
No, the point is, I took that out of American magazine and I tried it and it worked a treat.
But why? I don't understand why you'd want to do that.
Well, it saved people trying to burst them any other way.
But
somebody's got to do it sooner or later.
Well, no, they don't. Just put it in a landfill.
Well, no, we haven't got enough for landfill. They've got to be crushed down to metal.
Who came up with the idea of landfill? Because even from day one, right, the first day they had like a big truck full of rubbish, right, and they said, what are we going to do this? Well, you see that field over there? I'm going to dig a massive hole in it, and you just put it all in there and we'll cover it over the top. Right, hang on a minute. Well, two things, right? First of all, we're going to have a load of dirt because you're filling... So what are you going to do with the dirt? Secondly, that's not sustainable, is it? Pretty quickly, you can't just fill up the whole of the ground because we'll run out of ground.
Correct.
So why would anybody come up with the invention of landfill?
Well, of course, they try and burn as much rubbish as they can.
Now that I can dig. The burning I can dig. Have you ever smelt a tyre fire?
Yes.
Beautiful toxic fumes.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that's beside the point.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. That brings me on neatly, guys, to one of the topics we've got so far. What did your granddad do? Where and when, this is Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. Where and when have you been drunk when you should not have been drunk? 0344 499 1000. How do you take back property? My method would be break in and do a poo. Also, how have you kicked people out of your house if they've been there too long? Things that are supposed to be good, but are absolutely rubbish. Like breakfast in bed. And here's another one, right? Now, I've been to Japan several times. 3 times, I think. And they do this in Japan. And the first time I went out with some Japanese friends and someone did it, I thought they were doing it for a joke. But they were doing it seriously, right? 0344. They were doing it seriously and they sell them, right? And what reminded me today was I saw a gentleman who was not Japanese walking across Westminster Bridge with this, right? It's those surgical masks they wear over the mouth and the nose. And when we were in Japan, it's my friend, it was Kenji. And he had it, and I laughed, and I could see he was offended. I said, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why'd you do that? And as we walk out of the building, he put this mask on, and then I said, what? He says, oh, it's to stop the toxic fumes and the chemicals and the smoke and all of that. And I was thinking, but it's been proven, it's just a bit of paper you got over your face. That's not going to stop. It's not as if he's wearing like a deep sea diver's thing or a proper oxygen mask that filters out. It's literally just a bit of gauze over his nose and over his face. And there was and if you see Japanese tourists, they don't do it so much now. It's kind of fallen out of favour a bit, but occasionally still on the London Underground or on a London bus. On Oxford Street, occasionally you'll see a Japanese tourist with this. Occasionally, but I'm driving. It wasn't Westminster Bridge. It was the other bridge, Blackfriars maybe. And I'm driving over there, and there's a fella walking towards me on the other side of the road. A white guy, not a Japanese guy, with one of these masks on. And I was thinking, what the hell are you? Why are you doing that? That has been proven, right? First of all, it's obvious, right? It's obvious to anybody who's not an idiot that having a little bit of gauze over your nose and your mouth is going to filter out like 0.0000001%. It might be like 1 grain of dust that will get filtered out. But the carbon, the stuff from the cars, from the buses, from the boats, that's all going to go in. All you're doing, right, is you are not prolonging your life, you are wasting money, and you are looking like a knob. That's it. That is it. So, topic number 5, guys, out of a possible 10. And I've only got 4 left. Do you know anybody who's used these face masks? Have you ever worn a face mask? I think the reason they wear them, and I'm just thinking this out loud, but this makes sense. The reason that doctors wear them in hospitals is not to stop them breathing in, like, I don't know, cancer or AIDS or MRSA. It's to stop them spewing out. Because sometimes it's like, if you just clear, you've all done this, you just clear your throat. And sometimes, rarely, but like a big greenie comes out. I remember I did it when I was 16, and I was going to Slough Records Centre with my mate Jason, who worked at B-Jams. And I did that, and he had a nice suede coat on. And I just cleared my throat. It was just that. And a greenie came out and stained his suede coat. And it was there forever. And so that's to stop that. That's why they wear those, the Cass doing it now. That's why they wear those in hospitals, to stop, so that the surgeon, if he just clears his throat, he doesn't hurl one into, like someone who's having a lung transplant. Imagine a lung transplant, you go, or it's a cesarean. Just as you're sewing up the final thing, boy, it slips in. So that's what they're for. So there's your next topic. Why do people do those? Use those? Have you ever used those? And what can we do to stop this nonsense? 0344 499 1000. It's the Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. We're halfway through the topics, guys. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over. Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I knew it was true. So Sharon Watts, Letitia Dean, and Kelvin, Paul Medford. And I thought, in the episode, Ian Beale was in it, right? But they did start a band, and they were called The Band. And they did release a record in an attempt to have a pop hit. Now, I've got a clip here from a TV show. What TV show is this from? Saturday Superstore. Saturday, Christian, I'll come to you in a minute, mate. 0344 499 1000. This is Letitia Dean and Paul Medford singing their hit, Something Out of Nothing. Here we go. This is the lamest dance. I'm desperately trying to find a tune in there. This is the Sharon Watts and Kelvin song, live on Saturday Superstore. I'm really trying to find a melody. Sweet Lord. While we're doing this, when you see Wixie sings Every Loser Wins in the Vic, I mean, you can't ignore stuff like that. Oh, dearie goodness gracious me. Oh, Christian!
Hello again.
You found the chicken noise machine.
I don't know how we found this, but it was in the loft.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, man. Okay, right, nice and quiet. We're near the phone. Let's
tweet you a photo of it, by the way.
Oh, you've got, sorry?
I'll tweet you a photo.
Yeah, please do. I'll retweet it. Yeah.
Now, it needs, to be fair, the string on this is God knows how old, but it needs to be a little bit thicker if anyone is trying this. Yeah. However, I've realised that the technique needs to be kind of adapted slightly because of that.
Yes.
So the button end, I'm pulling on the button end.
Okay.
I'm having I hope this works in my my microphone headphones.
Bit of freestyling, okay.
Okay, it might sound... Yeah, okay, here we go. Hang on. Granted, this might sound just like I'm knocking on a wall, to be honest.
Oh, I'm glad you said knocking on a wall. I get it.
I might have to video it for you.
Yeah, do that. Send us a video. You've just reminded me. That is brilliant, by the way. Well found. And that's the one that Grandad made, is it?
I think I made it in his company, but yeah, that's why it's in the box. And,
keep that.
I got quite emotional about it, actually.
Keep that, man. That's actual treasure you've got there. It's a silly little thing, but those are the best things. The silly little things that have got a story to them. That's treasure, man. Do you remember the thing in the 70s and 80s? I always used to terrify me. Do you remember those little yellow bags that were they were called like bags of laughter or something?
Bags of laughter.
And it was you'd press a button, and it would sound like hundreds of people laughing.
No, I to be honest, that's probably before my time.
All right, mate. I don't know. It's a rub it in. I know I'm old. Christian, well done, mate. Thank you for finding that. That's lovely. Send us a video if you can.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Nice one, man. That's lovely, isn't it? Do you remember a yellow bag? And you either pulled the string. I think you pressed a button, and it would sound like people laughing, and it was the most terrifying. Hey, here we go. Going back to things that are supposed to be good but are really disappointing. Chattering teeth. You see chattering teeth on cartoons and you think, brilliant. You get chattering teeth, bag of laughs, that was it, a bag o' laughs. You get chattering teeth and you put them on the floor or the table. Utter rubbish. Utter rubbish. We'll go through the topics in a minute. Yes, William?
Hi, I was just wondering, have you ever looked at the moon through a telescope at all?
I think I've looked at it through binoculars.
Right. Well, I bought a telescope off a guy pretty locally the other couple of weeks ago for about 30 quid.
Okay, here we go.
And the first night I tried to set it up, it's kind of complicated, to be honest.
Yes.
But this thing's from about the early 60s.
Yeah.
And it's made by all metal, so it's good quality. Apparently, the kind of newer telescopes.
We bought a telescope for the boys that doesn't look like a telescope. It looks like one of the Moomins, and it's rubbish. I can't get it. It's supposed to be like a really good one, and I can't get it to work.
Well, this one's old, but because it's old, it's good.
Yeah, solid, reliable.
So I managed to. The second night, anyway, I'd never got it sorted the first night, but the second night I got it set up. And
why did you buy it?
I don't know. I was just looking at pictures of the moon, and I felt like I wanted to actually see it for myself instead of just staring at images on a screen. So
and 30 quid
when you look at it like that and you just scan across it, it's amazing to know that that's out there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we've obviously got no control of it, but no matter what happens here, that's always going to be there.
Well, you say that. Not if the Chinese get their way. Didn't the Chinese about 6 years ago? They wanted to blow it up.
Did they?
Yeah. No, maybe it's a bit more than about 15 years ago. This is a true story. The Chinese wanted to blow the moon up. Imagine that.
Well, I've heard it's full of helium-3.
Yeah, the helium. And I only discovered 2 years ago that you mine helium. There are helium mines, and we're running out of it, and it's full of it.
There's a limited amount of gases. I mean, the gases that they use to cool fridges and stuff like that, they've only got a certain amount of that.
Yeah.
Stuff, so.
And that's why you should never have helium balloons at kids' parties.
Yep. Cost a fortune when I start, so...
Yeah, and it cost a fortune, and you're killing the planet. You don't need an inflatable Bart Simpson. You're killing the planet, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But you say you found the moon. You found the moon.
Yeah, the second night, just the way the telescope was set up, it just kept going to the right. Every time I set it up, it would just slowly go across to the right-hand side, so it would just scan right across the moon. And when you look at it like that, it's amazing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest.
That does sound incredible. I mean, how do you know how? I don't know how to phrase this in English, so I won't. How much magnified was it by?
Amazing. It's you can't fathom. Jupiter was about, maybe when you look at it, about 2 inches below the moon a couple of weeks ago, and I managed to see the stripes going across Jupiter.
Wowzers, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. Well, good for you, man. Well done, William.
Listen, I can also play this chicken string thing. I set it up while I was on, just before I phoned you, and I can play this.
Did you have one before, or did you make
Never.
it following his Christian's instructions?
Just from what I heard on the phone.
Oh, mate, away you go, William. Yeah, I'll have as many of these as we can get.
Right, I'll put the phone down.
That's better. It's faint. It's very faint. There we go. William! Oh, God, I lost him now. William!
Can you hear this?
That was better. I don't want to say it because Christian sent me a picture of it and he made it in front of his granddad, but that was much better. That sounded like a chicken. That was brilliant.
It's amazing.
Oh, I'm doing that tomorrow. No, tomorrow I'm taking the boys to the Beach Boys.
I'm taking this in. I'm showing the kids this in the morning.
Mate, William, you're a good sport, man. Thank you very much for that. I'm taking the boys to see the Beach Boys tomorrow, but Saturday, we're making chicken-making noises. Paul!
Hiya, please tell me I'm not going crazy, Ian, because you'll know the answer to this.
Yes, mate.
You're talking about music from EastEnders.
Yes, sir.
What's just popped into my head, and I refuse to Google it, because I know you'll know.
Yes, I will.
I'm sure you will.
Yep.
Do you remember a black girl that was an actress in EastEnders, had a couple of pops?
Michelle
Gale.
Michelle Gale.
Yes,
and she was the first person...
She ended up marrying in real life the footballer Mark Bright, didn't she?
Yeah, and she was the first person I ever saw using an earphone with a microphone on to make a phone call. I was at Television Centre and I saw Michelle Gale walking past me. She was talking to herself and I thought, that's weird. Maybe she's learning her lines. And then I saw she had like a little headset in. It's the first time I'd ever seen anyone with a headset. Yeah, her song, I got it. 'Cause your sweetness is my weakness.
God, thank you, I'm not mad, am I?
Well, like that's a subject for a different day, Paul. But
yeah,
that song, she certainly had some hits. And here we go. Sid Owen. Do you remember Sid Owen had a hit?
Oh, it must have been some Chaz and Dave thing or something.
It was like a horrible skanky sort of reggae thing. And we used to make funny lines about it. Hang on, don't tell me.
Was it Mully Mully?
Mully Mully?
Woolly Mully, like Vinnie Jones did Woolly Mully, didn't he?
Do you mean Woolly Bully?
I thought it was Woolly Mully.
We got a good thing going, a real good Sid Owen. That was it. It was kind of sub John Who was the lad from London's Burning? He had a couple of sort of reggae hits, and then he got in a little bit of trouble because I think he got done for kind of dealing drugs and stuff, and it was one of those things where it was entrapment, and his whole career was ruined.
Didn't that actor used to be originally in Grange Hill?
He did, and he had a couple of sort of reggae hits, and then he got into trouble, and then sort of Sid Owen took over. Was his name wasn't John Altman, was it? Was it John Altman?
That's it. No, John Altman was Altman's the guy that played in EastEnders.
Nick Cotton. Yeah.
Nick Cotton, yeah.
There was John somebody, and he got. I felt so sorry for this lad because he was a decent actor. He had a couple of hits, and then he got entrapped selling like a wrap of coke to somebody.
Yeah.
And his
Set up
whole
by the newspapers.
His whole career was ruined because he did a stupid thing, and I always felt so sorry for that man.
I can picture him, yeah.
Yeah, he's a short fella. I want to say a short fella. I don't know. I always felt so sorry for him. He did one stupid thing, and that was it. Game over. Game over for him, poor fella. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. Okay, right, you put me out my misery. Yeah.
Well, I'll put you out of misery now. There we go. Thank you, Paul. Ah, dear. 0344 499 1000. Andrew says, Dear Ian, that's polite. Manners, respect, courtesy. I like that. The Chinese plan... No, this is not true. Why are you sending me this? The Chinese plan was to explode a huge bomb filled with magnesium oxide on the moon to improve its reflectability to save on street lighting. Come on, no. No, I'm not buying that for a second. 0344 499 1000. Yes, Alan?
Hiya, are you okay?
Sir?
Hello?
Hello. Oh, there's a tweet from Keith about Paul. I effing love Paul. What does he look like? I don't know. Alan, what you got for us, boss?
I've got a couple of ones where I had too much to drink in the wrong moment. But
yeah.
One's at work and the other one was on stage. Which one do you want?
Oh, let's have at work first.
Right. Well, I was working for the civil service, and what happens was I was working pretty much 7-day weeks, but the weekend was overtime.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
We did day shift, evening shift, night shift. So you finish on Friday day shift.
Yeah.
Then you start Sunday nights, but there was overtime Saturday days and Saturday nights.
But was the overtime, was it a good rate?
That's right, yeah. Oh, yeah, about £120 a day.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. So, on the Friday, obviously, for 2 weeks you can't have a drink, so the Friday was like you absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
So, and you go to nightclub at about 2-3 in the morning, but work paid for taxis the next day. So I went in the next day, that was fine. So they finished drinking about 3 o'clock, the taxi comes 7 o'clock. When you get through the day, you finish at 4, all well and good.
Yeah.
And then we got home, and normally I just went to bed.
Yeah.
And then got up for midnight again, so it was only like 8 hours in between.
Yes.
And there just happened to be a barbecue getting around my mate's house. So I said, I'll pop in and maybe have one bottle of brown ale and go to bed and then get into the taxi to work.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, when it's like the best brown ale you've ever had.
Yeah. It's a good drink.
So I said, well, I'll go down and get another 4. I had them.
I'll get another 4.
And then I thought, I may as well. I said, I'm getting a taxi in any case. And there's a minibus come to pick the lads up about 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they went for a session down the pub, so I did that as well.
Oh, God.
And then the taxi came 11:30, so I'd had a full session.
Good.
I'd had no sleep since, like, Friday morning. I spent 3 hours.
Yeah.
Gets into work. Now, Saturdays, the reason I did that, it was basically used to play on our Game Boy. I was working the civil service, and what it was was mainframe computers. They never go wrong. You just had to watch for it.
So you just had to be there. You didn't have to do anything. You had to be there and play Tetris.
That's it. Tetris and golf. That's all I played.
Yeah.
And Sod's Law, I got in, and everything had gone wrong. All these £1 million worth of... And there was only about 4 of us in, and they were on the train. There was only me knew what I was doing. So I was like talking Swahili, trying to get everything going. All these machines just popping all over. I was having to get, it was an absolute nightmare.
Did you manage to style? Did you style it out?
Yeah, it was fine. But maybe it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, I hit this brick wall.
Yeah.
You know what? We've been it all sorted, and I mean, I got congratulated, but I hit this brick wall. I felt like death. Felt as though my whole throat was dying.
Yeah.
And obviously I had no sleep. Oh, it was a nightmare.
The only thing you could do, of course, was to have another beer. You had to have another beer. So, Alan, listen, I've got to go, so coming up to the break, we'll get the story about you being on stage another day. Thank you for that, mate. I enjoyed that. We're getting some cracking calls tonight, dear listener, from a lot of alcohol-dependent people. 0344 499 1000. It's the Thursday Top 10 Topic Throwdown, and more topics coming after this.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel like that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find when I go home, home, home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roam.
We do it every Thursday night. You know the score by now, dear listener. 0344 499 1000. I sit here and I dish out the Thursday night Top 10 Topic Throwdown. The topics we've got so far. What did your granddad do? 0344 499 1000. When and where have you been drunk when you shouldn't have been? If you were a landlord whose property was being used inappropriately and you had to take it back and you weren't going to follow the legal route, how would you do it? I would break in and do a poo in their living room while they were watching. Works on two levels. First one, they know you are loco, baby. You don't play by society's rules. Second, if you imagine you've got poo in your living room, you get out and you, boom, you got the place back. Also, how do you get people to leave if they've stayed in your house too long? Things that are supposed to be good, but are rubbish. Breakfast in bed is my example. 0344 499 1000. Can anybody in this day and age, and I saw a guy doing this today, it really is. Here comes the yawn. The midnight yawn. I've had 4 hours sleep. I did the thing today, last night, where I got home and I knew I was taking the kids into school this morning. So I had to be up at 7 and I got into bed at 2:30 and I was absolutely wired. I was wide awake and I was worrying about the listening figures because I hadn't quite got my head around, actually what we're doing is a positive thing, and I've got that now. So I was worrying about that. I was annoyed with the bra guy who's been having a go. Just ignore all this stuff. Just annoyed me. And so I was in bed and I was thinking, it's 2:30. It's 2:45. 3 o'clock. Got to be up at 7. There's nothing. I couldn't. I tried to meditate and I got bored of that, which is always a bad sign. I dropped off sometime after 3. God, I had less than 4 hours. And then I was woken up by my eldest getting into bed with me at 6:30. Oh, God. And he got in and he went, "Morning, Daddy." I went, it's still sleepy time. Then the other one got in. Oh, it was insane. Absolutely insane. So I had to get up at 7 and take the kids to school. And then I thought, well, I can go back to bed for a couple of hours. And of course I couldn't sleep. I was still wired. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm not in tomorrow, dear listener. I'm taking the night off to take my boys to see the Beach Boys. And we've got really, really rubbish tickets. And we were playing some Beach Boys this morning. We're having a little boogie around the kitchen to fun, and I get around and Surfing USA. We got terrible seats. And the thing is, the Beach Boys now, they do like a 2.5 hour concert. It's like boom, 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 boom. I personally think they could kind of break it down a bit. They could drop some of the songs and they could have a bit more talking to the audience. And they certainly need a really good, they show films in the background and they're rubbish. Really, really rubbish. I think anyway, I could see how they could improve that. And I know we'll get to the interval and the boys will go, "I'm bored now." And I'll say, well, let's stick around for the first few songs of the second half, but we'll probably leave before the end because it's a long old night and the seats aren't great. I don't really know. I think we're up really high and probably behind the stage. So I don't even know how much we'll see. But it's that thing of that, in 20 years' time, they're not going to say, "Hey, Dad, do you remember that Friday night you did a radio show?" They'll say, "Hey, Dad, do you remember that night you took us to see the Beach Boys and we left halfway through and I wish we'd stayed all night?" There'll be that conversation. 0344 499 1000. Face masks. Here comes a topic number for 5. Face masks. The Japanese often wear them. It's not quite so popular now. These little bits of gauze, and it just covers their nose. And what the hell? Why is anybody doing that? It's not. It's to stop stuff going out of your body, not stuff coming in. I always feel so when you see someone on the underground, you see it occasionally. Japanese, sometimes Caucasian people, and I just want to say, why are you doing that? The science is that you are doing nothing. 0344 499 1000. Oh, here's the one I wanted to start with. This is a great one, right? This is a great one. We have to play carefully with this because it has the potential to be libelous. So we're going to say now, no names and no names of schools, right? What rumours were there about your teachers? That is a great one, isn't it? That is a great one. I don't want to know the names of the schools and I don't want to know the names of the teachers, but what rumours were there going around your school about your teachers? I've got loads. One of the teachers was supposedly caught masturbating in the showers. I don't believe that. But at the time, of course, we all believed it. And so there was that. One of the teachers, my sister's listening, one of the teachers was a very, very flamboyant homosexual, very flamboyant. And, I think he had what was described at the time by the more mature students as a love affair with one of the pupils. They had a love affair. We knew this because it got written in paint on the wall at the Rotunda Club opposite us. What other... 0344 499 1000. I'm happy to hear these, and you can go all in. Don't want the name of the teacher, don't want the name of the school. And with that in mind, you can go all in. No holes barred. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. The phones go nuts for this one. 0344 499 1000. The rumours about the teachers. One of the teachers who was married was rumoured to be a militant lesbian. I don't think that's true either. but was certainly rumoured to be and I don't understand where the militancy came from as well. I don't know why that was such a thing. Julie's in. Julie, I don't want names. I don't want the names of the schools, but I want to know the rumours about your teachers, please.
This was a rumour about my teacher when I was in junior school, in the last year of junior school.
Beautiful.
It was a teacher, and it was that she had a wooden breast.
Oh, wooden breast! Ladies and gentlemen, a wooden breast. Do you remember the first person that went, hey, Jules, come over here. You know Mrs. So-and-so, you know she walks a bit funny. It's because she's got a wooden breast.
I do.
How was it brokered, this information?
It was just brokered when we got her as a teacher, and she was our form teacher. Then this particular girl, Alison, said to me, you do realise that she had an accident. It was an accident. She had an accident, so she's actually got a wooden knocker.
A wooden knocker. Wow, it makes sense. It makes sense.
But the thing is, that age, so what was I, like 10?
Yeah.
But at that age, you don't think that wouldn't be true.
Well, at the age of, I'm going to be 44 in a few weeks, I still think it's a possibility.
Like wooden, and she was quite old.
Napoleon had wooden teeth.
And I did always kind of think, look at her and think, I wonder if you can see whether or not one of them is. So that was the...
What would she mount it on? Was there a screw in her chest that she would screw in like a chair leg?
I assumed it was on some kind of,
pulley system.
Contraption. Some kind of
a contraption.
Yeah, ribbons or something that she would tie it on.
Wowzers. And it was, do you remember the moment, I'm imagining several years later, where you just thought back to that and realised quite how stupid it was?
Well, not really, because in my mind, that was the way that it was. So it's like when you said teacher rumours, immediately into my mind was like, yeah, wooden.
Beautiful. Julie, we're in there. The phones have actually gone mental for this. Maybe it turns out that you do want topics. Fine, not a problem. We can fix that. Louis, Ian, Jim, stay there. We'll come to you in a bit. 0344 499 1000. It's the Thursday night top 10 topic throwdown. And the one that seems to have got you hot under the collar is rumours about teachers. I don't want the names of the teachers. I don't want the names of the schools. And by withholding that information, you can go all in. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
We may not have time tonight to throw out all of these topics. The best ones, of course, the ones we don't use, will be carried over to Monday night for the Monday night subject slam. 0344 before we do it every Monday, 0344 499 1000, the thing that's got you hot under your collar, and as long as we don't mention names of people and we don't mention names of schools, we can go all in on this. I want the rumours about your teachers. Rumours that may have been absolutely preposterous looking back with adult eyes, or rumours that actually were pretty chillingly close. 0344 499 1000. This can go either way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's friend of the show, friend of everybody, friend of good and indeed bad comedy. It's Mr. Louis Bath. Good evening, Louis.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. How are you doing?
Not bad. Yeah. No, I'm going to ruin the line of the show because I want to go to another topic, not the school.
Oh no, go for your life. Which one do you want?
What did your granddad do?
There we go. Well, it's a topic I shunned in my youth, but now in my old age, I see that actually it's a thing of great beauty.
Now, my mum's dad was an engineer.
Yeah.
And one of the things he did was work on the landing gear of Concorde.
Wowzers.
Now,
designing it, building it?
No, building it, fabricating the parts.
Wow.
Now, the thing is, for me, that is the least of his achievements.
Gosh.
Because he was just the greatest man. And I think about him a lot, and I've been thinking about him a lot this week. Lifelong Spurs fan, White Hart Lane going. I was a bit emotional at the weekend. I got no interest in football, but I just thought, crikey, I wish Grandad was here to see that.
Yeah. What, did they won a football game, did they?
Well, no, they're moving out of White Hart Lane.
Oh, they're moving out? Hang on a minute, why are they doing that?
Oh, redeveloping, moving to a new stadium.
Chasing the dollar.
My granddad made me sit down and watch comedy. So he's sort of responsible for all the books I've done.
Yeah.
And, made me listen to jazz, Duke Ellington, all that. And when I passed my driving test this week, and I just think, how would Grandad approach this junction?
Oh, fantastic!
Such a massive influence over me.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, and he was the sort of man who would his strongest reaction to anything would be to go, dear, oh dear, oh dear, like Tony Hancock. And he was great. He wore cardigans, but he was funny.
Yeah.
Oh God! And he once. After he retired, he had a job doing security at a race course. And he once, and I won't name who it is, but there was a big function, and there was a celebrity.
Okay.
Well, there were lots of celebrities at this function.
Yes.
But Grandad was told, look, even if it's obvious that they are who they are, please get them to show you their invite.
Oh no!
Because and he said, okay, yeah, well, but and my granddad went, what? Even if it's Kenny Lynch, and they went, look, even if it's Lynchy, and Lynchy was known at the race course. He was, he'd roll up and say, oh, hello, Bob. Oh, Mr. Lynch.
Some of those old school stars, they don't like that. They don't like it up them. They don't
But Lynchy was fine with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one was a bit of an Aravis, bit of a noove.
Yes.
Anyway, he turned up. Grandad's there in the blazer. Excuse me, sir. Can I see your invitation? I don't need an invitation.
I'm Harold Steptoe. It sounds like.
Yes, yeah. I don't know why I put on the Michael Winner voice. and he went, no, I'm sorry, I'm under orders. Everyone has got to show their invitation on the way in. Oh, I'm a guest of honour. Look, I appreciate that that this is, not ideal, but I will lose my job if I let you in and I haven't checked you. And he was huffing and puffing, and he did the classic thing.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
God, I'm feeling uncomfortable now, and you're recounting a story from decades ago.
And my granddad said to him, Mister, I know exactly who you are. I've seen you on the television. I'm just doing my job, and I really do have to see your invitation.
Oh, good for him.
And he looked at my granddad's badge, and he went, right, Bob, I'm going to get you sacked.
Your voice is going all over the place,
I
Louis.
know.
This is just to draw attention away from anyone in particular.
It's the emotion of remembering the story. And my granddad went, look, the surest way for me to get sacked is to let you in without doing what I've been told to do. Now, by this point, I'd have told this bloke to F off and everything.
Yes,
my
I know
granddad
you would. Yes, I've seen you on Twitter.
really was fair, and of course, this bloke finally pulled his invite out of the jacket pocket where he knew it had been all along. He was trying it on, shoved it under my granddad's face like a really, really bad contestant on Call My Bluff. And my granddad said, thank you. Wasn't so hard, was it? Go in and enjoy your day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Flipping heck.
Yeah. And I thought that's the sort of man he was.
Yeah.
That's the sort of man we all should be.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant, Louis. What was his name? What was your granddad's name?
My granddad was Bob Murray. Robert Forsyth Murray.
Bob. Granddad Bob. Oh, fantastic.
And when he died, I inherited all his tools and everything. And I've got screwdrivers he made when he was a young apprentice that I use every day.
Treasure.
He was great.
Actual treasure you've got there, Louis.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, mate. I enjoyed that. That was lovely.
My pleasure.
Cheers, my dears. There we go. That was lovely, wasn't it? I didn't really know my grandparents too well because when I was 15 and I decided I didn't want anything to do with my dad, I stopped seeing that side of the family. So I didn't see my nanny Peg and my granddad Jock again. Never saw him again. Never saw him again. The worst decision of my life. Ian and Jim, I'll come to you in it. The worst decision of my life. And then on the other side, Grandad Bill, who I did get on with really, really well. I got on with Jock and Peg. But he got ill, really. He got ill. He was like 56, I think. I seem to remember that age sticks in my head when he started getting Alzheimer's and dementia. And we lost him in terms of his mental capacity. But listening to Louis has just reminded me that Grandad Bill, I think is partly responsible for me doing this because he had tape recorders. He had big reel-to-reel tape recorders, and whenever we were around his flat, I don't remember the house, but I remember going to the flat, we would go round and play on this tape recorder. And also, I remember I think he gave us a reel-to-reel, and he also, for one Christmas, bought us a little cassette recorder. Oh, look, no. Louis just texted me. Louis, did you text me that? Is that the things just flashed up on my phone? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. He's just texted me who it was. Don't surprise me. If don't surprise me at all. I won't say. I won't even give any clues. Don't surprise me though. Strikes me as the sort. I thought it was going to be a big star. It's some little oik. But yeah, he bought me a cassette recorder, my little black cassette recorder one Christmas. Greatest present I ever had, probably about the age of 6. Me and my sister got a cassette recorder each. Wow, thank you, Louis. It was. Oh, God, yeah, doesn't surprise me. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. What did your granddad do? I really enjoyed that call, Louis. Thank you. That brought back some nice memories of my grandparents. Let's go to Jim. Good evening, Jim.
Hello, Ian.
Jim, you want to, rumours about teachers? No names of schools, no names of teachers? What you got?
Two things. Rumours about teachers, we'll come back to that because that will lift spirits after the story of my grandfather.
Oh, beautiful. Lots of granddad stories. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, my granddad apparently was the best bloke in the world, and I never met him, unfortunately. But apparently, there was all these stories about him being a wonderful chap, and then he got very sick in the, mid-30s, and he was very poorly. He missed most of the war because of his poorliness.
Yeah.
And then after the war finished, he was healthy again. He was well, and they sent him to Buchenwald.
To where? Sorry.
So after the war, most people think that just cleaned itself up, but it didn't. They had to send in lots of English soldiers to clean up Auschwitz.
Oh yeah. Yes, of course, sort it all out again. Yeah.
Yeah, to sort it all out, and he got sent there, and apparently he never came back. What? He did come back, but he never came back.
Oh, physically he came back.
Yeah,
but what he saw was.
Yeah, apparently he was the nicest guy that anyone had ever met, and a really good sense of humour and stuff. And yeah, when I met him, he just didn't really say much. Yeah, he's gone.
You reminded me of my great granddad on my dad's side.
My parents are quite old.
Yeah, on my dad's side, and my nan, who's my great-grandmother, was called Nanny Perkis, and she was a very strict, old-fashioned and old woman. And we go and visit her. She had this amazing house, which is now will be a block of 12 flats. And we go and see her, and I was always a little bit scared of her because she was very prim and very proper, but she was nice, and she always smelt of lavender. And then after being there for a couple of hours, either she or my mum or dad would say, right, should we go and say hello to Grandad George? And Grandad George was her husband. And he was in the sitting room. And he would sit in the sitting room watching television. And we would go in there, and he was incredibly old. Yeah. And it was so terrifying. We go in there, and we'd sit there and be really quiet. And he couldn't really do conversation. He'd kind of say, hello, how's it going? And we'd say hello, and really stilted conversation. And my dad would make a few jokes, and we'd sit there for about half an hour, and then we'd go. Now, I don't know this to be true or not, but thinking back, I'm guessing he probably did fight in the war. I don't know if he did,
possibly.
But he was probably damaged in the same way in a similar way that your grandfather
Yeah,
possibly
well,
was.
apparently people... I couldn't believe it, because I'd met him, and I remember meeting him, and he was a very sombre character. It wasn't unpleasant, there was nothing... But there was nothing there. Yeah, and then everyone said, he was the right character. He was like... And then there's all these stories about him womanising and being a bit of a character and a cad and things, and I just think, I wish I'd met that guy that was there before.
I know what you mean, man. Thank you for sharing that.
No, wait, Ian, wait.
Hey, here comes naughty teachers.
Yeah, Mr. McIver.
No, you've said his name!
Oh.
What? Now, hang on.
Is that the end?
No, well, yes, potentially.
Well, I won't say the name of the school.
Well,
and it was in Scotland and not in England.
Okay.
So
Hang on. Well, how?
It could be anywhere.
You're right. It could be McIver. How libelous are you going to be?
Well, it was in Scotland, so the name McIver is a very common name in Scotland.
Oh, God, we've got to be so careful.
Yeah, Mr. McIver.
Take little pigeon steps at a time, and if I need to,
it's probably not true.
Well, that makes it even worse. I think we can get away with Mr. McIver. That's a vague enough name. No one knows who you're
So his nickname was Mr. McIver, the Moggy Muff Diver. He licked out a cat for the price of
No, it's not. You've read Limmy's book. You've read Limmy. Don't try and sneak that one past me, Jimbo.
You've read it already.
You've just read Limmy's book, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. Don't try and I heard that in my car today, that story. Don't try and sneak stuff past me. For crying out loud. Ian, Pat, stay there. Come to you after this.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
So is this a thing? Julie's story. Pat and Ian, I'll come to you in a minute. 0344 499 1000. I've just had an email from Patrick. Hi Ian, I can't call as I'm at work. We also had a teacher rumoured to have a wooden breast. Was this a thing that was going round in the 80s? The students all used to sing "Wouldn't Tit Be Nice" when she came into the classroom. I mean, was that a thing then? Was that a rumour just that kind of spread? 0344 499 1000. Yes, Ian.
Hello, teachers were rumours.
Sorry?
Teachers and rumours about teachers.
Rumours about teachers. Don't mention the name of the teacher. Don't mention the school, please, sir.
No, not a problem. Can I give you a little bit of background?
Please give me some background. Yes, I want the background, even if it's classified.
Right. This teacher was pretty well renowned to be a bit of a nutter.
Yes.
He could literally throw, when he used to hand you homework and exercise books and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
He could literally throw a book from where it was stood to every pupil in the classroom, and it'd land on the desk.
Yeah, we had a teacher that could do that. Yeah, wicked skills.
Aye, yeah. Well, it was rumoured that this guy got a sack because apparently what he did, and there's no way of knowing if this is true or not, but he was a bit of a prankster.
Uh-oh.
And he put cling film over the toilet seat to the female toilet.
No!
Apparently.
A member of staff?
That's what the rumour was at the time.
But beautiful. Beautiful. Any evidence to back that up?
No.
Good. I like it when there's no evidence. The evidence often ruins it. Oh, that's a great story. We had lots of teachers rumoured to be sex offenders. I'm not making light of that. We actually did. And it turns out that one of my favourite teachers got done for touching up a lad, which I found such a surprise. I mean, he gave me the slipper. I don't know if he got a buzz out of that, but he got done for touching up some kids, and I thought it was just the saddest thing. Cling film over the well, I don't know. Maybe. Was it over the female teachers' toilets or the girls? Okay, all right. Because that would have
female teachers' toilets. Yeah,
that would have been a bit pervy.
And apparently this other female teacher had a suede suit on at the time.
Say that again.
The female teacher who caught the brunt of it had a suede suit on at the time.
Oh, no. Outrageous. Ian, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. We're not going to get to do all the topics on the Thursday night Top 10 Topic Throwdown. Sorry, guys. We'll carry them over to Monday. Let's go to Pat. Good evening, Pat.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Pat.
Oh,
Have you
not
got
great, but-
Have you got the
Sorry.
radio on in the background?
No, it's just I was just on the train on the way home, and someone dropped a milkshake on my orthopaedic boot, so I'm just in the toilet at East Croydon Station, just trying to clean it off.
Oh God, that's awful. What flavour milkshake?
It was like a chocolate one. I'm sorry.
You sure it was milkshake?
Well, I don't know.
Because there are a lot of strange people out there. That could be anything.
Well, we did stop at Thornton Heath, so you know what the people are like there.
Yeah, I do. Deviants, sexual deviants, into all kinds of filth.
Is there? Ian, I've had some bad news.
What's this, Pat?
Well, I went to see my friend Timbo in London.
Timbo! Fun name.
We go and see each other, and we go and talk about where we're going to go and do autograph hunting and stuff. And I showed him an old photograph album, a signed photo, and I've lost it.
What photo have you lost?
Well, it's a small. I've got 200 albums.
Yes.
But one of them was a small one. I thought he'd be interested in seeing, and I was at Victoria Station getting a Whopper, and I had a bag, a Superdrug bag, and it had a signed photo thing, and a little small album, and a Rustler burger.
Oh,
and
yes.
I've got a list of people that. So if anyone finds it, can.
Well, who's in the autograph book?
Well, can I tell you? I've got an index that I know because I know these off. I've got Bella and Berg, Russ Abbott.
Okay.
Maureen Lipman.
Oh, I used to live in the same street as Maureen Lipman.
Bob Cryer.
Who?
From the Bills.
Oh, yeah, Bob Cryer.
Eric Richard.
Who?
Eric Richard.
Don't know.
He was Bob Cryer.
Oh.
Gordon Honeycomb.
Gordon Honeycomb from the newsreader.
Yeah, I've got Wincy Willis.
Oh, TVAM.
Yeah, Pamson Clements.
Yeah, Pat, I've resorted to schoolboy. I resorted to
me.
No, I resorted to schoolboy humour there, and that was a knee-jerk reaction, and I didn't mean it. I retract that immediately. Pat Butcher.
I got Ziggy from Grange Hill.
Okay, Ziggy.
Yeah,
he was
Linda Robson.
Yeah, he was the. Yeah, okay, you carry on.
No, because I was upset because it was one of my favourite albums.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Pat. What does it look like?
Because you're on the telly and you might be able to help.
Well, what does it look like, Pat?
It was basically it was pink with it said autograph photo, so autograph written on it, and it's mostly for autographs, but I stuck the photos in.
Okay, so it's got
Ronnie Corbett and Shakin' Stevens.
Okay. Well, so don't give us any more because it's quite a dull list. But so
sorry,
so it's a pink autograph book,
yeah,
with some has-beens in, and you're desperate to get it back, yeah.
It's in a Superdrug bag and it has a Rustler burger in it.
Okie dokie. Well, Pat,
I don't know what to do because I'm just sat here in the toilet.
Well, go home.
So go home.
Go home.
Because I was going to go back to Victoria, but I just don't think I'll be able to.
Not at this time of night. It's nearly 20 to 1. Go home, Pat.
Will you come and get me?
Sorry? No.
Okay.
No.
Oh. Well, if anyone hands it in, could you return it to? I don't know. I can't give my. Oh.
Tell you what. Give me a call on Monday. I'm not in tomorrow. Give me a call on Monday.
I'm going to Butlins for the weekend to see Chico, so...
Okay. I'm going to cut you off now because you're being weird.
Okay.
0344 499 1000. Let's go to Sally.
Hello.
Hello, Sally.
Hello. It's about rumours about teachers.
It says on my screen you haven't called me for years.
Yeah, I called you a few years ago about shell suits and scousers.
Did you tweet me about this the other day?
Yes, I did.
You
yeah.
did? Okay, all right. I'm trying to remember the voice, and I can't. My memory's terrible. I don't know. Anyway, go. Yeah. Yes.
It was a Monday morning. I got to school, and there was this rumour going round about two of our teachers.
No names, but yes, continue.
No. I went to a convent school. I was about 15 years old.
Yeah.
And the rumour was that two of our teachers, who were PE teachers, women, had been arrested on the Friday night.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is that I knew this rumour to be true because I was actually a witness to it.
So two female teachers have been arrested?
Yeah, I was out with some friends on a Friday, and we were walking down towards the bottom half of the high street, and there's a pub called the Red Lion.
Yeah.
And we saw our two PE teachers being dragged out of the Red Lion by police and put into the back of a police van.
This is like gold as a child. This is like learning a foreign language. This is incredible.
Yeah. The problem is that because we'd all witnessed it, there was about 5 or 6 of us. We had been called in to the head of year and the headmistress's office that morning, and were told under no circumstances must we confirm this rumour. So we couldn't say anything because we would all get into trouble. But the rumour had got round because some of our friends had spent the weekend phoning other friends. And
what are the teachers? What have they done?
Well, what happened was it was 2 PE teachers, and the rumour was
2 female PE teachers.
Yeah, and they were a bit butch, and we always sort of thought that maybe they were,
lesbian. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, of course. Most of my teachers were either lesbians or gay. Yeah, that was, of course. When you're that age, that's what you think. Yes.
Yeah, and what had happened was we got to speak to people outside the pub that evening. Oh my God, what happened? And apparently some drunk bloke came up to them and called one of them a butch dyke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
And she grabbed the stool and whacked him round the head with it. And apparently it turned into this great big...
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You were 15, yeah?
I was 15, yeah.
Were you in the pub?
See, that's the thing.
There we go! I knew it! I knew it!
The thing is that we were quite fond of these 2 teachers because they used to go to the same pubs that we went to.
And they turned a blind eye.
They turned a blind eye, and they came over to us and they said, look, we know you go out for a drink, and you know what, we're keeping our eye on you, and if we see you play up, then we're going to say something.
We're keeping our eye on you, breaking the law.
Yeah.
I bet they were keeping their eye on you as well.
Oh, no, they're married now, but to men.
Oh, okay.
They still work at the school.
Oh, my... hang on. So you were in there...
Yeah.
Getting tipsy. So you saw it all happen, did you?
Well...
And why did you start the story with me? We saw them being dragged out as we walked past.
We weren't actually in the pub at the time. We were going to the pub at the time and saw them being dragged out. But we used to go to the pub with them.
By the way, that's Monday's show. Thank you. Monday's show. When have you drunk beer with a teacher? Because I've done it. Remind me on Monday, Kath. When have you drunk beer with a teacher? Yes.
So that was, and they still work there, and my aunt now works there as a TA.
Yeah.
And she knows the story.
Wow.
And of course, she's got to keep quiet because then,
This is nectar, Sally. The thing is now, you see in the papers, there's headmaster ends 25-year career because he chucks a rubber at a kid. These 2 teachers were in a proper barroom brawl, smashing chairs over people's heads. No doubt one of them picked up the bloke she was punching and slid him along the bar, and they've still got their job.
They were really good teachers.
They were good teachers, of course they were. Sally, that was a brilliant call. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, my dears. Ta-ta. We've got Matthew, we've got Bill. Bill, then Matthew. Bill called in first. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
What did your granddad do? When and where have you been drunk when you shouldn't? Taking back property, breakfast in bed, rumours about teachers and face masks. Let me, the 3 that we're not going to get to do tonight, we're going to do Monday. I had a ticket to see... I never learnt to swim. And I killed an animal. That's happening on Monday, as is When Have You Drunk Booze with a Teacher. 0344 499 1000. Bill's been waiting the longest. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Ian. I'm going to crack straight on, sir.
Hey, it's Bill!
How you doing?
Oh, flipping heck, Bill. This is wonderful.
Oh, I'm glad.
You're sounding very, how can I say this, with it?
I usually am, and I? Sometimes not.
Sometimes not. So how's life going? All right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm still listening. I'm just getting early nights and that.
Oh, good for you, Bill. This is something. But tonight you've decided to stay up, you naughty, naughty boy.
Yeah, because I fell asleep about 7:30 for about 3 nights on the road.
And sleeping straight through or waking up?
Actually, 2 days through and 1 up, but yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to tell you about a rumour about teachers.
Okay, beautiful.
And I know the rules. No names.
No names, no pack drill. Away you go, sir.
Okay, then. We had 2 teachers.
Is there Bill?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
All right.
Away you go.
I don't know if I can sing loud though.
Go on, give it a go.
All right then. It'll be the slow song for you. Okay. We had 2 teachers, Mr. A and Mr. B. They were always hanging out together, and we noticed that they were in their car and the windows were steamy on lunchtime. So we started a rumor that they enjoyed each other's company. Bum chum for life.
Right, yes. Okay.
But anyway, that was a bit risky, but you know what I mean. But anyway, looking back, after all these years, I realized that they used to come back in the afternoon and their eyes were red, and all they were pot buddies. I think that's what it was, really.
So they weren't enjoying each other's company sexually. No. They were just enjoyed smoking a bit of weed and getting high before coming back and dealing with you lot.
Yeah,
you lot of homophobes.
Oh, mate, their eyes were pinging.
I cannot. I don't condone the use of drugs or anything, but I cannot believe the situations I have been in where I have been so high and thought that people didn't know that I was so high. And, my eyes were, shooting all over the place.
Oh, mate, tell me about it. I've had a cold and hay fever for about 12 years, mate.
Knock it on the head, man. Knock it on the head. You save the money. Life is better without it.
I've cut all the way down.
Cut down to 0, man. Your life will be, honestly, it will be so much better. What a waste of money. Bill, here's a fun thing, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it now, but when you put the phone down, try and add up all the money you've spent on drugs.
Oh, speaking of going to bed tonight, mate.
There's your homework, Bill. Go and do that. Honestly, I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm not for 12 and a half years. And it's for people that do drink and use drugs and enjoy it, and people do drink and do enjoy it. And you know what? I kind of have to give the sort of slightly anti-drug message because of, and I would never condone or encourage anyone, but people do use drugs successfully and people do drink successfully, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you do, just add up. Just start adding up how much you've spent on all of those drugs. And maybe the drink, maybe you want to factor the drink into it as well. Because I think you'll be amazed. That's probably a small flat in North London. It probably is, guys, if you're that way inclined. Matthew!
Good evening, or good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Matthew. The dying moments of what has been a very busy show, what have you got for us this evening?
Teachers.
Yes.
Teachers.
Rumours about teachers. No names, no pack drill, away you go.
Yeah, 100%. So, our school was, my old school, we were famed for having an awesome science department.
Every school was famous for something. Our school was famous for its musicals until I got there. Then they stopped doing musicals. We were really every school was famous for something, and yours was for its science facilities, was it?
Yeah, for sure. And we had this two nut jobs of science teachers.
Yes. Nut jobs.
Nut jobs.
Yeah.
Absolute psychopaths.
Yeah, we had one.
And lunch breaks used to invite us all to the classroom to do just some random experiments and just show us tricks, basically, with stuff. And he froze his assistant's hand with liquid nitrogen by accident. and his assistant lost his finger in front of us.
Flipping heck! Hang on a minute.
He went to dunk a banana wrapped in a piece of wrapped in a
what was it?
String.
Wrapped in string.
A string to dip it into the liquid nitrogen to freeze it to show us. You can get a hammer and you can just smash it like a shard of glass.
Oh God, no!
And his assistant put his finger in it.
And it was like a classroom assistant. So it was a grown up.
Yeah, classroom assistant.
And
yeah,
I'm assuming Peter Pointer.
Yes, exactly.
Into the what? And then, please tell me the teacher then shattered it with a hammer. I mean, if you might as well.
No, not quite. It was a ambulance job, and the finger was gone. It was only the tip, but there was
only the
that was good enough.
And did you see the tip come off, or was it the teacher that the assistant came back 2 days later and the finger was a bit shorter?
Assistant came back about 2 or 3 weeks later, and up to his fingernail was gone.
Flipping heck, man!
Yeah.
Fun, that is a fun science experiment.
Yeah, and then there was another one. We had a biology teacher who never was in the classroom. He was always in the back office.
Yeah.
And I went looking for him one day because I wanted to try and go to the loo.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and he had this big wall of video recorders, all playing at the same time. And it turns out that he was actually making pirate VCRs. and I brought the Running Man off him for 2 Lambert and Butler cigarettes and a flapjack.
Oh, Matthew, I've got to move on because I want to get one more call, but that is incredible. The teacher was running a bootleg video service, and he got a copy of Schwarzenegger's Running Man for two fags and a flapjack. Oh, man. We can squeeze this in. Gareth.
Good evening, Ian.
Gareth, we've only got 2 minutes, I'm afraid, because the
rumours guys quickly.
Get straight in there, fella.
To a man called Chris Cornell.
Sorry?
Chris Cornell, the lead singer of Soundgarden.
Oh, yes. That's all very sad, isn't it? It looks like he took his own life.
Yeah, it did, and Eddie Vedder must be crapping himself because he's the lead singer of the Big Grunge 4.
Oh, gosh.
That is still going. But can I just say, this gentleman has inspired me, and he's my singing. I sing like him. My creation. So I sing like him. And
you say sing like him. I don't know. That's a strange call to end on. I wish we'd ended on the bootleg video. There you go. Maybe, okay, well, it turns out maybe you guys do want topics. I don't know. What do I know? What I do know is this is a late-night radio show unlike any other late-night radio show, dear listener. We got plenty more ammunition up our sleeve. Monday night, when have you had alcoholic drinks with teachers? I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there, right? And again, I don't condone drugs, okay? When have you ever smoked a joint with a teacher? Because there'll be some. Also on Monday, I had tickets to see ... I never learnt to swim, and I killed an animal. All of that, and a whole lot more. Don't forget you can download the podcasts. Please spread the word. If you enjoy the show, if you like what we're doing, then tell a friend, bring a friend along next time. I am here weeknights, Monday to Friday, generally between 10 o'clock at night and 1 a.m. You can follow me on Twitter at Iain Lee. Is that all I've got to say? I believe it is. Ta-ta.
Election 2017 on Talk Radio.